the year they were actually really pretty darn good.
Right.
And he was at a lot of great games. He's at the Hail Mary game. That CSU game that year was awesome. So he's thinking, college football games, this is as good as it gets. And then this year, I don't know that he went to a game. Now, part of that was he helped me coach my 8th grader. And, the games they played weird nights. They played Friday nights, and he was either watching his other brother or coaching with me, and it just was like.
Wait, so this is a college sophomore who is volunteering his times on the weekend to coach his younger brother?
And hang out with his dad.
That is pretty exceptional. Like, I can only hope that my kid would want to spend some of his weekends with me and another family member when he's at the height of college.
I've hardly seen him this semester.
Okay. He's found something else.
But last semester I saw him a lot. Yeah, and he lives up in Boulder, so he would drive all the way back to Broomfield.
Holy smokes.
Every night for practice or for film and for games.
What?
And he was super into it.
Wow.
Dedication.
That's right.
Wow.
That's
And
right.
so how is he feeling now about the football program?
Not good. About the same as he feels about the basketball team, which, you have to buy like the sports package or whatever. I don't know that he's been to a CU Hoops game.
Did they lose by 30 to Houston?
No, they didn't. They lost by 40.
Yeah.
Spread was
I
19
turned
and
it
a half.
off. Yeah,
Spread was 19 and a half. You could have
All
doubled the 19 and a half point spread. They still would have covered.
The
It
people
was 50,
who
Drew said. Got to 50.
I've been on Tad Boyle for years.
You have.
And everybody's been yelling at me about it. I'm like, are you on board now? Because this program is, they won the Pac-12 title, 12 years ago? 14 years ago? 14 years ago. It was 2012. What have they done since then?
Does he still have ties to Team USA?
I don't know.
I don't know. He did.
That was kind of the appeal of you can get some of these kids, but if he's not even there, then what's the point?
Yeah,
So-
I don't know. But I'll say this. They're in the Big 12 now. They've actually hung tougher than I had thought. They had won back-to-back games before this weekend. So, seriously, from a competitive standpoint, I thought they were going to win 3 games in that league. That's the second best league in the country. And they've done a much better job because I thought they're going to get there just pummeled. They've been more competitive. Saturday was ugly. I was texting Dante first thing in the morning. Now he doesn't text me back. That's his loss.
Oh, whoa, Dante.
But I'm texting 19 and a half. Just take it to the bank. Take it to the bank.
But they had an embarrassing game. Was it Texas Tech?
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago, too.
Iowa State, they lost by 30 on the road.
Just too many of those. And it's a program that at best has plateaued. At best. Every year, it feels like you're hoping you're a bubble team, and all the people from Channel 4, Channel 7, Channel 9 are up at Tad's house on Selection Sunday,
That's right.
ooh, they got in, or they're going to the NIT. Right? That's the best.
That's a smart play on Tad's part to butter those guys up.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just I'm over it plateauing, and you'll always hear, well, what were they before Tad got there? I don't know. It was so many years ago, it's hard to remember.
I'll tell you what they were,
weren't very
James.
good.
They were a team that didn't make the tournament.
Right.
Yeah,
And you know what
that's
they are
what
now?
they were, yeah.
A team that doesn't make the tournament.
Yeah, but now Tad can look at Dion and be like, come on, dude.
So to answer your question, my son, who's a sophomore at CU, is not real bullish on Buff sports at this point.
Okay.
He's looking at that Arizona offer and going, man, that would have been nice down there.
Should have done that.
So, but I'll say this too. I just don't know how good of a job it is. If you moved on from Tad Boyle, you don't have NIL funds. CU is the have-nots. So truly, you could hire a young hotshot coach, but if you don't have resources to get these kids in the NIL era, I just think you're fighting with one arm tied behind your back. Truly.
Yeah, maybe.
And that's why, by the way, and not to set you up, just to interrupt you, but this is my thing with Deion Sanders. This has been my thing with Deion Sanders. You don't have the NIL money to spend, but you don't recruit. You're the only coach in the country who's not on the road recruiting. What is going to happen to CU this fall, and it has already started to happen this past year. What are they, 3-9 this past year? Mm-hmm. You're welcoming that when you don't have the finances to compete with the haves, and then you don't have the work ethic. What are you expecting to come down the pike? It confuses the hell out of me. And anyone from a CU standpoint who gives Deion a pass for not actively recruiting when Kirby Smart and Kalen DeBoer and Kurt Signetti are in living rooms, but Deion Sanders is not because he was a star in the 90s. I don't get it. That they are not off the hook with anything because he hasn't worked.
I won't argue with you on that. I totally agree on that front. The whole, though, we don't want to make a change at coach because who are you going to get that's better? And part of that is, well, who are you going to get that's better and that's going to be more successful? And part of that does tie into, hey, they don't have a ton of resources here, so you're going to be fishing in a smaller pond or a different pond.
Yeah.
I get that, but we also just saw what happened in Indiana, right? Like, you can go get the right guy who can change the program.
Sure.
And I think not making a decision and not making a move, whether it's with the basketball program or the football program, because you're afraid you can't do any better, that's you're staying with the girl you shouldn't be with because you're afraid
Real
of being
fast,
single.
Rammies 7-0 in the month of February on the hardwood. They're starting to make a little push here as they get ready for their tournament. That's good hoops in this state.
Totally.
Want to watch them play the right way, some solid basketball, head up to FOCO. Get some crazy Carls on the way out.
I was there 2 weekends ago watching them come back against a solid Wyoming team. You know, Calvin Booth's son is up there playing.
Mm-hmm.
He's their starting center. I watched him block 6 shots.
How'd he play? Did he make it look easy?
Does he make it look easy? He beat me.
Well, on some of those drives he did. I mean, this dude, he's 6'10". He's tossing shots because athletically he shouldn't be in the Mountain West. He should be at a Power 5 conference athletically. But some of those shots he was blocking was just like, holy smokes. He's not an NBA player, but he can go play overseas if he wants. But I'll say this. I'll say this too, though, James, to your hey, don't be afraid to break up with a girl because you can't get someone better. On the football front, you're married. You're married. They are not. See, CU is in such a pickle here. Truly. And I'm not, I don't think I'm being over dramatic at all, because you don't have the NIL funds to recruit top tier players. Okay. You have a coach that doesn't recruit. You have a mass exodus from his staff and his roster. And you have a buyout that if you wanted to buy him out, they can't afford to raise the $21.5 million to pay the students. Where are you going to find the money to fire Deion Sanders? It's a mess up there, and my fear is for that program, because while I don't have a personal attachment to the program like you do, a lot of people that I am friends with and care about do have an attachment to the program. You'll start with Phillip Lindsay and so many others. You're in a bind because you don't have the resources to now move on from a head coach that it's not working, it's gotten worse, and there's nowhere to turn. And it would have to, Deion Sanders would have to voluntarily leave a situation that is paying him $10, $11, $12 million per year in the coming years. It's just, man, it's not good, James.
Well, and you go back a little over a year ago when we were all worried that he was going to jump at an NFL job. Remember, I was like, oh, could he take the Cowboys job before they hired Schottenheimer? Man, that would have been the best thing that ever happened to that program. Because I'm with you. They are stuck, right? They're stuck. They can't buy their way out of it. Him going somewhere else would have been their escape. That doesn't exist anymore. So maybe they can catch lightning in a bottle and have a surprisingly good year. There aren't a lot of things that are pointing in that direction, that's for sure. But if that does happen, you better hope he jumps at something else that comes his way, because Rick George had to swing for the fences. He did.
Yep.
So I don't blame him for doing it. But, man, he created this mess and then bailed on it.
Yeah, and what I'll say is, too, I have always, even though I have been extremely critical of Deion Sanders, extremely, the loudest voice on this station, it was still the right hire at the time. Just like the right move at the time was to trade for Russell Wilson. The biggest sin comes with doing the deal, the mega deal, when there's 2 years left on the contract. They did not have to do the new deal with Deion Sanders based off one season where you paid him a top 5 coach in a season that they didn't even go to the conference championship game. It was so premature, and now you're stuck with it. And that to me is the larger sin here. It's paying him this huge contract that you can't get out of when you didn't have to, and the substance of why you did it was a very nice 9-win season.
Yeah, and they were trying to get out ahead of it. Same thing the Broncos were doing, right? We had the conversations when they gave Russ the contract. Of like, well, if you waited a year, it's just going to cost you another $50 million over the course of 5 years. They thought they were making a smart gamble. The Buffs thought, hey, he's only going to get more and more offers. But with Russ, it's, hey, maybe we ought to watch him play one game in orange and blue before we do this. And with Coach Prime, it's maybe we ought to watch him coach one season without Travis Hunter and without Shadur. Let's see what he does without those guys, because he had him at Jackson State.
Yep.
He had him at CU for 2 years. What does he do without those guys? That would have been the more prudent path. Clearly, they made the bad choice and took a bad gamble. But it's a mess. It really is a mess.
It is a mess. We will continue to diagnose that mess in further detail because it's relevant this week specifically, and we'll talk about why just a little bit later in today's show. Also, the Nuggets lost again. Is this a blip on the injury-riddled radar, or is the writing on the wall for this group? That's next.
Is Jets running back Breece Hall the perfect addition to the Broncos' backfield?
This is the type of back that the Broncos need. You talk about a difference maker. He's a 3-down back, so he can play first down, second down, third down. Doesn't have to come off the football field, but I think this guy could be a real difference maker.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. I have to tell you about one of the most unique spots anywhere in the world. Not just Colorado. Guys, I'm talking about the Basketball Social House Bar and Grill in Centennial. Guys, this place is elite. Award-winning food and drinks. Try the brunch and thank me later. It is phenomenal. But what really sets it apart is that it's the first of its kind, a sports bar and entertainment experience. Literally the only one on this planet, all right? It's right in Centennial. Don't get it twisted, though. This place isn't just for hoopers. Even if you never touch a basketball, it's an awesome spot to eat, drink, hang out, and catch the game. But if you do want to play, you can book your own private basketball suite with a court, lounge seating, music, TVs, and more. Guys, it's perfect for parties, birthdays, or just an upgraded night out. It's also one of the best places in Colorado to watch big games with what might be the best happy hour in the state every single day from 7 p.m. to close. You can find them at 7450 South University Boulevard in Centennial, or check them out online at thebasketballsocialhouse.com. And because you heard it from me, get half off your first private basketball suite rental when you use the code HALFOFFHOOPS. Trust me, this place is a slam dunk.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your card can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your card today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
When our grandfather started Williams Jewelers in 1947 as a humble little neighborhood jewelry shop, he could not have imagined how big his dreams would grow. I'm Dylan.
And I'm Shayna Williams. Today, thanks to you, Williams Jewelers is not only one of America's largest fine jewelers,
we're Colorado's premier jeweler, with more of the world's top designers than any other store, including Roberto Coin, Marco Bichigo, Kwiat, Hearts on Fire, Mikimoto, and dozens more.
An entire diamond and bridal department with the latest engagement ring styles and wedding bands from Tacori, A. Jaffe, and Gabriel & Company.
Add to that our legendary Swiss watch collections and service center, and you have the only jeweler you'll ever need.
With over 30 jewelry professionals, master goldsmiths, and watchmakers to serve you at Williams Jewelers, you'll still always be treated just like our grandfather would.
Like family.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
The official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
You're listening to Sports Talk Radio at work. So is your competition. So are your customers. Denver sports fans don't half listen. They argue. They text in. They remember stats from 1998. They remember who sponsors their obsession. Audio, video, or online. We've got every angle covered. DenverSports.com. Make your move.
Between groceries, travel, and higher prices, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, especially if you're already relying on credit cards to cover the basics. If that debt is piling up, you're not alone. If you're a homeowner, you might have considered reaching out to American Financing, but hesitated because you don't want to give up your low mortgage rate. That's why American Financing created the Smart Equity Loan, a simple, smart way to get your finances back on track without giving up your low mortgage rate. Unlike a HELOC, which can fluctuate with the market, the Smart Equity Loan offers a fixed rate, so you'll have one predictable monthly payment. It lets you use your home's equity to pay off high-interest debt, free up your cash flow, and still keep your existing mortgage intact. There are no upfront fees to find out how much you can save. Call 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Denver Sports 1043 to stay up to date on all your local teams. Denver Sports 1043. The Fan. Denver Sports 1043 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
Off and rolling. Here on a Monday, March 2nd. Happy Monday to one and all. This is normally when I say, what up, Phil? But Phillip Lindsay not with us today. He'll be back tomorrow, and I'm sitting down with a guy that I have not worked with in, you tell me. I mean, well over a year. Has it been multiple years?
It's been over a year?
For sure.
Really?
That you and I sat down and did a radio show together?
I mean, I guess it
100%.
Probably has been. I was going to say it's been a minute. I didn't think it had been that long, but yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. And here's the other part of it is like, all things considered, Phil doesn't miss a lot of time. You like comparatively to just an average person, not even like an ex-athlete, he just doesn't miss a lot of work.
Well, you used to work with Stoke, so I had a lot of opportunities to sit in with you.
Yes. He's like bordering on part-time.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's good to be back here.
Yeah,
I'm excited about it. Was looking forward to it all weekend. Watching the Nuggets over the weekend, thinking, all right, I'm gonna talk to Zach about this. What's his take going to be on these things? And it was not an enjoyable weekend.
No.
To be a Nuggets fan.
No, and especially like you consider, and I know folks know this, but like Friday night you're playing the team that bounced you last year in the second round of the playoffs. Sunday afternoon you're playing the team that bounced you in the second round of the playoffs 2 years ago. Both of them were basically in dramatic fashion in different ways. 2 years ago, it's the largest Game 7 blown lead in the history of the NBA. Last year comes down to a Game 7, and they lost by 30+. And to go 0 for 2, and those were big games from a standing standpoint. And especially yesterday, as the Nuggets dropped down to the 5th seed, James. And I'm just I'm still hopeful that all things are possible with this team, and I really believe that, okay? I've been talking about the NBA into a microphone for 17 years now, so I don't want to overreact to games in February and March. But at the same time, if we're going to react to what we're seeing, like to watch the games and understand what you're looking at is to be concerned, and in my case here on a Monday, deeply concerned.
Well, there are a lot of troubling signs, right? Like you can't just continue to ignore things of, it's 17 and 18 in their last 35 games. That's a big sample size. That's almost half a season.
Huge.
And you're sub 500. The fact that they're so bad late in games, they're from a clutch standpoint, they're miserable. They blow fourth quarter leads. Seems like every time they lose, they're blowing a fourth quarter lead in the process. So the good news of that, and I'm not a moral victories guy, but it's not like they're going out and getting blown out.
No.
They're in every game. They have a chance to win every game. They probably should win most of these games, but the fact that they don't is extremely troubling, especially when you have the best player in the world on your team. Like, that is usually the formula for, hey, you're pretty good down the stretch. You got a go-to guy. You're going to get calls. All those kind of things that when you have that kind of player on your roster should make you a good fourth quarter, especially late in the fourth quarter kind of team, and they're just not. Now, the caveat to all of this, and I'm not trying to make excuses, it's just the fact.
Yeah.
It's hard to be a really good team in crunch time. It's hard for everybody to know their role when it's been such a hodgepodge of lineups all year long, seemingly.
Totally.
Right? Like, they haven't been completely healthy since probably the beginning of the year. And the other takeaway?
But I would ask you also, who has been in the NBA this year?
I agree. That's very true. The other thing I think we've learned, Aaron Gordon's the second best player on this team. I don't even think it's debatable at this point. Like, when they don't have him, because he's good on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if he's the second best player, and it's going to sound like I'm talking out the other side of my mouth. I don't think he's the second best player, but I think he's the second most important player. And I do think those are two different things. Because, and by the way, let me just say this because I know how it can be interpreted. You're not winning a championship without Jamal Murray. You're not winning a championship without Aaron Gordon. James, when he's on the floor, when he has been on the floor this year, they're the third best defense in the NBA. When he's not on the floor, they're the 27th best defense in the NBA.
Yeah, and then their second best defensive player, probably, is also out at the moment.
Yep.
So there's a reason they're bad defensively in the last month and a half, 2 months. It's their two best defenders aren't out there. But Aaron Gordon's a guy that is really, really good at both ends of the floor. He's also a guy the last 2 seasons has improved his three-point shooting to the point where you have to account for him.
Totally.
Teams used to just leave him open.
Agreed.
And so now you have to account for him. And without MPJ on the roster, and listen, he drove all of us nuts just camping in the corner, just waiting for the pass and shooting threes. But he did force the other team to account for him.
Always.
So even if he would just stand there, somebody else was standing with him, you're kind of playing 4-on-4.
Yes.
It opens up the court. Who's that guy now? Who's that guy that the other team has to worry about him knocking down shots? And without him out there, they just don't have a legit third scoring threat. So no MPJ, no Aaron Gordon. This is a team that they just are out of sorts in almost every way possible.
Yeah, and you look up and you look at them in clutch games, right? You mentioned that that used to be the hallmark of who they were. But also just against better than average teams. The last 10 times the Denver Nuggets have played a team above 500, they're 1-9 against winning teams in their last. Like that is striking, and it's fair, and it's actually impossible to have these conversations without shoehorning in the fact that there's no Aaron Gordon, there's no Payton Watson, and just how meaningful AG is to this whole dynamic. But at the same time, I'm watching a game on Friday night where the best player in the world goes for a triple-double. Jamal Murray goes for 39 points. It's against a team you're going to have to beat to get to the NBA Finals. The game goes to overtime. OKC pulls SGA out of the game based off a minute restriction. They're missing their second best player, unequivocally, an all-NBA player in a way that Aaron Gordon has never even flirted with. So they're missing their all-NBA second best player. The reigning MVP doesn't check in overtime, while the Denver Nuggets have a triple-double from Jokic, 39 points from Jamal, and they still lose. It's confounding.
It is confounding. And look, again, I'm not a moral victories guy, but you also do have to look at how they've gotten to that 1-9, right? That 1-9, that's a staggering stat. But that also includes a triple overtime loss in New York to the Knicks, right? Like, was that triple overtime?
Was it triple? I don't think it was triple, was it? Am I misremembering
It was
that?
multiple overtime.
Okay. Yeah.
It's an overtime loss, and I get what you're saying about SGA not playing in overtime.
Double OT.
Okay, so double overtime to the Knicks. Overtime on the road to Oklahoma City. So it's like, okay, it's concerning. I'm worried. But again, it's not like they're going out and losing by 25 on the road to good teams, and that's how they're going 1-9 in their last 10.
Yeah.
They're right there, which when you look at, Aaron Gordon's going to come back, Payton Watson's going to come back, they don't need a huge difference maker, which I think AG's a huge difference maker.
Agreed.
They don't need a huge difference maker. They just need a little bit of a difference maker, and both those guys are coming back.
Well, they have real issues that are season-long themes, not just one-off, instances. We have season-long themes at this point. I'm going to, I think, blow your mind right now. I hope anyway. Unless it got said and I haven't heard it. Nikola Jokic has not won back-to-back games since the week before Christmas. It's March. I'm going to say it one more time. Nikola Jokic hasn't participated in back-to-back wins since the week before Christmas, and we are in the month of March. So is it an indictment on Jokic? Not necessarily, and we know he missed 16 games in January.
Right, I was going to say he missed a month of that time.
He did, but it's March.
I mean, it's not good. And I think we all thought the MPJ trade was a win because, but look how much deeper they were able to make the bench. And, it wasn't a straight 1-for-1 trade. It gave them cap flexibility.
4-for-1 almost.
But now you start looking at those other guys, and it's like their supporting cast. I mean, raise your hand if this sounds familiar. Their supporting cast, their bench, just isn't getting it done. Like, it's a different group, but they're not getting it done again.
It's at least over the weekend, Friday and yesterday, felt like we're back to where we were with the non-Jokic minutes. Absolute disaster when that guy steps off the floor. And so, but that is a impactful sentence that Jokic, think about that. And again, I'm not making it about Jokic and his, lackluster play, even though he has been disjointed since returning from injury. The fact that the greatest player in the world hasn't won back-to-back games since the week before Christmas, and we're here in March, it speaks to a larger issue that we're going to go through in greater detail in hour number 2, and I'm really looking forward to that because the stock couldn't be lower on one guy, and you know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get to it in hour number 2. All right, some massive moves, though, today in the NFL that will impact the Broncos, and one that should have involved the Broncos, maybe? It's worth asking. That's next.
After moving on from another defensive coordinator, are rough waters ahead for Coach Prime and the Buffs.
My true feelings as of right now, this is not good for CU. I don't think it's a positive outlook for what's coming at CU. And I'm being sincere here. This is not a promotion.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
All right, gentlemen, let's be honest. By the way, happy Monday. Most of us are great at ignoring signs. We feel tired. We're dragging through the day. We're not sleeping well. The workouts just aren't the same. And we just chalk it up as no big deal, I'm just getting older. But for a lot of guys, those are classic symptoms of low testosterone, otherwise known as low T. And the new year is the perfect time to fix it. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic are experts in treating low T and other men's sexual health conditions. They treated tens of thousands of men across Colorado. And this year, they're going to help guys go even further with their 4 targeted body composition plans, featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1, PDA, and more, all designed to boost energy, support metabolism, and enhance recovery. Also, this is going to help you accelerate that fat loss. Finding out is simple, too. All you need to do is go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com, take the 2-minute low T quiz. All right, it's a simple 10-question quiz. All right, then what you're going to do is schedule a consult. They're going to draw your blood and have the results within 30 minutes. The appointment is $99, which will include a medical consult with a Colorado licensed medical provider, a T and PSA test, and if medically advised, a test dose. And here's the thing, gentlemen. If that test dose does not work in the office, the visit is free. They also have 5 locations out there to serve you as well, so there are no excuses. Go get treated. You can go to Fort Collins, North Denver, Central Denver, Castle Rock, and Colorado Springs. Don't ignore these signs anymore, gentlemen. Give my guys at Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic a call today at 720-440-7900 or visit RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. That's RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
As a social influencer, my days can be busy. 4 a.m., I hit the gym. 4:32, protein smoothie. 5:08, save time and money bundling my home and auto insurance with Progressive. Wait, if I bundle and save time, what would I do then? Just sit here and reflect? Like, why am I qualified to influence anyone? And how those weights are hollow? And half of my followers are bots.
You could save time and money bundling your home and auto when you switch to Progressive. It's one less thing to worry about during your already busy day. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Zach By here for 5280 Exteriors. Guys, we've had the driest winter in decades. Protect your home with fire-resistant, non-combustible, low-maintenance upgrades built to handle Colorado's extreme weather. 5280 Exteriors, the altitude of quality.
When you've been hit by an 18-wheeler, there's 3 things you need to do. First, call the police and get medical care. Second, don't talk to the insurance company alone. And third, call the truck crash lawyers at Berg Simpson Law Firm. Berg Simpson has 50 years of experience holding them accountable and over $50 million recovered after truck crashes. Call Berg Simpson today and let us fight for you so you can focus on healing.
If you've been injured, call Berg Simpson for free now at 303-790-2525. live. BergSimpson.com. Good lawyers changing lives.
Yo, Harvey, Zoe, group selfie.
Ooh, nice new iPhone 17, Drewski.
Let's do a triangle formation. I'm in front.
With the center stage front camera, everyone fits in the shot.
You got it at T-Mobile.
But switching takes forever.
Not anymore. Now you can switch to T-Mobile in just 15 minutes.
Focus, people. Nail your pose.
And you get a new iPhone 17 on them.
No way.
Yes way.
No way.
Yes way, guys. Switch to T-Mobile and get iPhone 17 on us. And right now, we'll pay off your old phone up to $800.
I'm grabbing my phone and switching to T-Mobile right now.
Get back, Harvey. We're taking a... Let's go again, y'all.
With 24 monthly bill credits, finance agreement, 256 gigabytes, $830, eligible trade-in, example iPhone 13, and new qualifying line, $60 plus per month plan with autopay plus taxes and fees. For well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. $800 via virtual prepaid card. Card typically takes 15 days after rebate submission, no cash access, and card expires in 6 months. Check out in 15 minutes per line. Visit T-Mobile.com.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait. And don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The Great American RV Show and Off-Grid Expo is back at the Colorado Convention Center, March 12th through the 14th. Explore 400-plus fresh 2026 RVs and off-grid rigs. Go to DenverSports.com to register for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets.
Free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
All right, as we roll along here, I cannot wait to get back into the Nuggets conversation because there's so much more. It was tip of the iceberg just then. We'll get back to it. But some legitimate moves today in the NFL that will, in some way, shape, or form, impact the Denver Broncos. And I have to ask, should one of these moves that was made today involved the Denver Broncos? We'll get to that. James Merrillat filling in for Phillip Lindsay today. How about the Texans acquiring David Montgomery in a trade with the Detroit Lions? Coming back to Detroit is a offensive lineman, a guard, Juice Scruggs, and a 2 draft picks. The Lions are going to receive a 4th-round pick and a 7th-round pick. What did you make of this trade today? David Montgomery breaking up the partnership with Jahmyr Gibbs in what, for my money, was the best 1-2 combination in the sport.
Jahmyr Gibbs' fantasy stock just went up.
Massively.
Right? Like he was a frustrating player to have because you never knew when they got in the red zone who was going to get the football.
Right.
And so he'd have these monster games one week, and then the next week it'd be Montgomery's turn. It was hard to figure out. It's a good move for the Texans. It's a good back. Should the Broncos have made this move? I would not have been disappointed if they had. I mean, you're talking about 2 day 3 draft picks?
Correct.
I mean, a 4th-round pick, okay, but like really, most of the time a 4th-round pick, 3 years down the road, if they're still on the roster, that's a win.
And don't forget, you have 2 4th-round picks because of the trade with the Saints for Devon Vele.
Right, so this would have been an upgrade. So should they have done it? I would have voted yes. Does it surprise me that they didn't do it? No, because last week when Sean Payton was meeting with the media in Indy at the Combine, George Payton as well, they made it sound like they're thrilled with R.J. Harvey. I mean, especially George. Like, he was raving about him. And,
he was.
You know, it's a guy that had, nearly 900 yards combined from scrimmage, 12 touchdowns. He played in all 17 games. So I can see why they, kind of like the upside there, and maybe we are turning the page too quick on it. But to some extent, I don't think it matters who the Broncos have as a running back if they're going to do running back by committee. Like if they'd made this trade and said, "Yep, David Montgomery's our guy. He's a 3-down back. He's going to be out there 70, 80% of the time. He's only coming off the field if he's banged up or if he needs a short rest." But if you're going to have different guys out there all the time, and you're going to have Tyler Bidet out there in the biggest play in the AFC title game, I think the fumble was the biggest play of that game, and he's the one that botched it. Then I don't know if it matters who your running back is. It's how they use him is going to be as important as who the guy is.
Well, they need to pivot off their R.J. Harvey pet cat plan. And I know what George Payton said, but there's no way that in his heart of hearts, or even the organization's heart of hearts, if you will, believe that R.J. Harvey is a 1A starting running back in the NFL. We did not see, and I know you can make the stats sort of tell the story, but when you watch the games, he doesn't pass the eye test like running between the tackles. That doesn't mean he's not a weapon, doesn't mean he doesn't have a role, because he does. He clearly does. But on a down-to-down basis, I mean, once J.K. Dobbins got hurt, the running game just completely evaporated.
Yeah, I mean, his numbers were pretty good, but I don't have it in front of me, but I think he averaged 3.7 yards a carry.
Yeah, you're on it.
So that's obviously not great. He did show some big playability, though. Yeah, he had, both as a receiver and as a runner. I mean, he didn't have 80-yard runs, but he had some, you talked all the time. What was the stat? The number of runs they had over 22 yards or whatever 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago. So the 2024 season, neither of the top three running backs had a single carry that went for longer than 21 yards.
Okay, and he was able to do that. So it's like, okay, that's a new look for the Broncos. But at some point, when you go back over the last 2 or 3 seasons, the Sean Payton era, it's been a lot of different backs, and it's been a lot of the same result. So when is it not necessarily the running back's fault versus the scheme versus the play calling versus the constant rotation versus the 5 guys up front? There were also a lot of plays last year where R.J. Harvey had to make like 2 or 3 moves to get back to the line of scrimmage. There's too many times where they just blow the assignments up front, and he doesn't really have much of a chance. So, listen, do I think he's the next Jahmyr Gibbs? No. Do I think he's as good as David Montgomery? No. Do I think it's impossible that he's the answer? I don't. I put running back further down on the list of priorities than tight end and receiver and middle linebacker.
Holy no!
I think running back is a lesser need than those positions. I think R.J. Harvey
based on what?
Can do the job.
No. Wait, hold on. We didn't see any indication that he can. This was his.
That's not true.
This was his starts. Hold on. This was his starts when J.K. Dobbins went down. 30 yards, 35 yards, 75 yards, 65 yards, 50 yards, 43 yards, 28 yards. Then you got into the postseason, 20 yards and 37 yards. He is. I do not see enough of, and I think you're going to see the Broncos respond accordingly with a move with a heavier hand. I'm not saying, please don't confuse my words. He is a weapon. He is a good athlete. There is a role for him. But as a down-to-down starting running back, that is the fastest starting position in the National Football League. Every year, a rookie comes in and runs for 1,000 yards. I remember asking Sean Payton about this, how long it takes to evaluate. He says it's amongst the quickest. Pretty quick was his quote. And I think that, again, I'm not saying that he didn't have good games or didn't have some a handful of really nice runs, 3 of them specifically. The week 1 against the Titans, who were terrible, 40-yard run against the Cowboys, who had the worst defense in the league at that point, and had a really nice one, 38 yards against Jacksonville. Outside of that, you can't find a lot of big play ability from R.J. Harvey in the traditional run game, not out of the backfield.
More big play than we've seen from other backs in this system.
Sure.
So it's all kind of relative.
But if that's the standard, though, we can't lower the standard because of how bad the Broncos' room was prior to this year.
Well, the point I'm getting at is, let's take who do you consider the best running back in football right now?
Let's go with the rushing champion, James Cook.
Okay. If you put him in this system, do you think he's as effective as he was in Buffalo?
In the system, no.
System meaning Sean's offense, Sean's play calling,
he would have
those 5 offensive linemen / tight ends.
Yes, I believe he would be because, and I'm basing it off of 10 games of evidence with J.K. Dobbins, who was on pace to run for 1,365 yards.
Okay, on pace. That doesn't mean he did it.
After 10 games,
or was going to do it.
10 games, a nice sample size. You know that.
A year ago right now, who did we blame the Broncos' rushing woes on?
Mostly Javonte Williams.
Correct. And they let him walk and he goes down to Dallas, and then he gets a long-term deal. So clearly he wasn't the problem. It wasn't Javonte.
Hold on, James.
It wasn't.
And this is so funny because it's you specifically. We've been fighting about Javonte Williams for 5 years.
I feel like we're back at Blake Street Tavern all over again.
Back at Blake Street Tavern, where after his rookie year leading the league in broken tackles, you said no one should go.
It's a made-up stat.
No one should go get his jersey for Christmas.
You're welcome. I saved you $100.
No, they need to. Well, obviously we went down a rabbit hole with this conversation based off the Montgomery trade, but they need to. Whether they were involved in this trade or not, and clearly they could have been because the Lions wanted to deal him to an AFC team and a playoff AFC team at that. So I think they could have gotten involved. They need to, I think, address it with a heavier hand. Do you not agree with that? So you're good with this? Like you're good with the current construct of the running back room?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying I don't think R.J. Harvey's the biggest part of the problem because we've seen it with so many different backs. I think they have a head coach who has to run the football, run the ball on his play sheet.
Number
one
in attempts, Bo Nix this year.
Right. So, okay, it's not all on the backs. Do I think R.J. Harvey's great? Do I think he's going to be a top 16, meaning he's in the upper half of teams back in this league? Probably not. But I don't know that if you go get David Montgomery, all of a sudden your rushing woes are fixed because it's still Sean Payton's offense. Now, it's not Sean Payton calling the plays anymore, so maybe that has an impact. But is it still Bowles and Powers and Miners and McGlinchey? I mean, is that still the guy, Wattenberg? Is that still the guys that are up front? Because there are other issues other than just the running back because they've tried a lot of different guys, and they've essentially gotten the same result. And again, I know it sounds funny that I'm using Javonte.
It truly is because Javonte went for over 900 yards and 4.5 yards per carry his rookie year, and he wasn't good enough. And then I'm looking at R.J. Harvey, 540 yards, 3.7 yards per, and he's good for you. But now he is.
But he got all the blame a year ago. They ship him down to Dallas, or he leaves and goes to Dallas, and then he gets a contract from the Cowboys.
He played great.
So clearly it wasn't his fault. This is also a guy in RJ that found the end zone 12 times.
Okay.
There are things to be positive about.
We will put a pin in this and return to it. This is going to be a fun afternoon. I can tell. I can already tell. Hey, the Avs won over the weekend, but it feels like something's still missing. That's next.
There are people who are excited about the new play caller for the Denver Broncos. And then there's Mike Evans.
Sean Payton is out of the way.
Right.
And now Davis Webb. We've got our next Sean McVay. Our new Sean McVay is here.
Wow.
And this is going to be a top 5 scoring offense next year. I can't wait. I mean, it should be, right?
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
High five. Up top.
Dave's company just got the 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Yeah! It's 5 years of gig speed internet, advanced security, and a great rate that won't change. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Heck yeah!
He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread.
Yes!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee. Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping.
Woo! For a limited time, now through March 29th, switch to Comcast Business to lock in your rate for 5 years and get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Or ask how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Don't wait. Call today. Restrictions apply. New customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. Paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account required. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge excluding taxes and fees.
SodaWeightLoss.com helped me lose 60 pounds a few years ago, and I've never gained the weight back. Why? I know how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat. I had a real nutritionist there to help me along the way through my journey. I joined Soda for a short time to have results that last a lifetime. Call them up, 1-866-800-SODA. You want to lose that weight? 1-866-800-SODA, online at SodaWeightLoss.com. They are there for you like they were there for me. It's SodaWeightLoss.com. Soda Weight Loss is state-of-the-art.
Dan Jacobs with 303 Law 4040 and Jacobs Law with another cool story to share. James called 303 Law 4040, and he's like a lot of our clients, not looking to get rich, but he just didn't want to get stuck with a bunch of medical bills. So we met with James like we do all of our 303 Law 4040 clients in person, and it's a good thing we did because we noticed James did not look so good. We sent him to the hospital to get checked out, and they did wind up admitting him. In the end, we got him feeling better and $125,000. He was over the moon. He came into the office to pick up his check and rang that victory bell. And the really cool part is James surprised us with a check of his own, a donation so we could keep the best free meal in Denver coming each and every first and third Thursday. If you've been injured, you may be like James, not looking to get rich, but not sure what to do. That's why we're here to help. Just give us a call at 303-LAW-4040. Go ahead, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. That's 303-LAW-4040.
Hey, what's up? It's Zach here. And if you're looking for your new go-to spot in Centennial, the Basketball Social House is it. Award-winning food and drinks, an incredible weekend brunch, and a brand new sports bar entertainment space where you can catch every Colorado game. Even if you're not playing, it's a great hang. But if you are, their private basketball suites are unreal. Full court, lounge, music, TVs, the whole setup. And because you're hearing this from me, get half off your first private basketball suite rental. Just use code HALFOFFHOOPS. Trust me, you're going to love this place.
Follow us on X at DEN Sports 1043 for up-to-the-minute information and opinions on all things Denver sports. Also, we can still call it Twitter, right? Denver Sports 1043 The Fan, DenverSports.com, and the Denver Sports app. You're listening to The Drive.
Guys, it is time to start calling these names for the Superfan send-off. All right, so let me just say, John Mata, you could be heading to Las Vegas for the biggest pro wrestling event in the world thanks to 303 Law 4040. Call us back within the next 10 minutes at 303-713-1043 to be entered into our drawing for the Superfan Send-Off Grand Prize. A pair of 2 nights tickets to the event, round-trip airfare for 2 from Denver to Las Vegas, 2 nights hotel stay, and a $500 Visa gift card. John Mata, you have 10 minutes to call us back. If you haven't already signed up, there is still time. Head to DenverSports.com/superfan and make sure to listen weekdays every hour between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. to hear if your name is called. All right, James, most important thing by a mile is that the Colorado Avalanche won on Saturday against the Chicago Blackhawks. Chicago's not very good, okay? They are in a bit of a rebuild. It felt like a struggle for big pockets of the afternoon. You see the 3-1 score, can be a little bit misleading, ends up with a empty net goal there down the backstretch. But there's a couple of things here that are sticking out beyond the 3-period game over the weekend that speak to larger themes that are just in my craw. And it's not just, I was going to say it's unavoidable. I guess it just depends on what kind of fan you are and how you see it. How do you see it?
I see this as a team that heading into the Olympic break, I thought they just had gotten bored. Right, they were off to such a hot start. It came so easy. You know, an 82-game season, it's hard to keep your focus night in and night out, especially when it does come that easy. They just look like a team that was bored. They come back, And now it's like, well, are they still that, or they have the Olympic hangover, or what's going on? It's like, well, again, it's a long enough stretch where we can't just make excuses for them. And there are some troubling things about this team. Watching the game, I mean, they're down 1-0 early. Somebody might have had the Avs minus the 1.5 because that concerned me. It wound up working out all right.
And by the way, they could have been down 2-0 and maybe should have been. And it was like the first couple sequences of the game, and I forget who was from Chicago, rifled it off the crossbar. Blackwood thought it went in. He completely relaxed his body and dropped his shoulders like crap. Fortunately, Avs got a little puck luck there.
But they're down 1-0. They go on a power play, and normally you would think, all right, great, they're going to even it up here. And they put up the stats, which we all kind of knew them, but they show the Avs power play, and it's 32nd. It's like, how does this team, with all these Olympians and some of the best players in the world, have the worst power play in the entire NHL?
And not only is it the worst, and I've really tried to emphasize this as much as I can, not only is it dead last, it is historically bad when you take into consideration their net power play. And the difference between power play percentage and net power play is if I'm on the power play and I'm playing with a man up and I give up a shorthanded goal, of which there are 10 this year, 10 shorthanded goals, that accounts for net power play. So when you take that into consideration, and I think that we should, because it's hyper relevant, in the last 10 years, this is one of the worst power play units the NHL has seen in a decade.
Which is amazing when you consider who's on the ice for the Avs in those situations. It's just remarkable. Now, they had a scapegoat a year ago. They fired their power play coach.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't gotten better.
It's gotten worse.
So then you start looking at, okay, well, what didn't change? Well, the head coach didn't change. The guys on the ice didn't change. And, people accuse me all the time of, you just want to fire every coach. No, I don't. It's just the easier change to make than blowing up the core, right? Like, you're not going to get rid of McKinnon and McCarr, and, they did get rid of Rantanen, but, they're not going to, and Val and those kind of guys. But at some point, you do have to look at it and say, well, nothing changes. So if you don't change anything or don't change those two big things, what is going to change? And if you're right, it's gotten worse, and it's a concern because if you're that bad on the power play in the playoffs, you're not going anywhere.
It already happened. We already watched it. They went 3 for 25 on the power play last year, and they got beat in 7 games. Think about the delta of difference that could have made if they were even competent. So I'm yesterday or Saturday, they technically didn't score on the power play. They went 0 for 4. But I'm sure you saw it was like 3 or 4 seconds right after the power play where McKinnon sets up McCarr with a fantastic pass. But but still, we're looking for anything that it's almost like, well, it kind of counts as a power play because it was 4 seconds after the penalty expired.
Right. We're trying to find hope.
Literally. But here's the reality of the situation. Avs did go officially 0 for 4 on the power play on Saturday. You know what they are since January 12th on the power play? 2 for 35. But in that span, they've allowed 4 shorthanded goals. There's twice as many shorthanded goals given up by the Avs on the power play than they have scored in 35 power play opportunities. If that doesn't make your head hurt, need an aspirin, you're not paying close enough attention to this situation, that this specific situation of the power play is pretty dire. And it got them beat a year ago, and it will get them beat again.
No, it will, and this is a team. We talked about the Nuggets, 17 and 18 in their last 35 games. This is an Avs team that for 18-game stretch is 500.
Correct.
That's a pretty good sample size, too. That's more than just, hey, you're getting kind of bored with things. Hey, you got a little bit of an Olympic hangover. Hey, you're looking forward to the trip to Italy and not really focused in the week before the Olympics. That's a long stretch to be mediocre.
It is. They're 8-2 during that stretch.
So it's two teams that we all thought at the beginning of the year, and maybe even a month, 2 months into the season, said, we could be having 2 parades this spring/summer.
Right.
And neither one of them right now are trending in that direction.
Well, I want to talk about the one that's trending worse, and that's the Denver Nuggets. Are they actually contenders? Or are we chasing ghosts of a banner hung years ago? That's next.
Is Jets running back Breece Hall the perfect addition to the Broncos backfield?
This is the type of back that the Broncos need. You talk about a difference maker. He's a 3-down back, so he can play first down, second down, third down. Doesn't have to come off the football field, but I think this guy could be a real difference maker.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Everything is getting more expensive. Gas, groceries, and especially rent, which can go up every single year. But as a homeowner, you have a secret weapon. While the world gets pricier, a fixed-rate mortgage stays exactly the same. That stability isn't just peace of mind, it's your family's financial foundation. American Financing understands home ownership creates wealth. Every monthly payment builds equity and stacks your net worth on autopilot. It's how the middle class actually wins the long game. Your home is a flexible asset. You can live in it, rent it out for passive income, or pass it down to your children. Renting gives you none of that. American Financing salary-based mortgage consultants can help you get pre-qualified with no upfront fees. Call American Financing today and get a pre-qualification letter in 24 hours or less. Call them at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000 or online at AmericanFinancing.net. Secure your rate, build your wealth, and get the cash you need. NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
You know, Shayna, when our grandparents opened Williams Jewelers in 1947, they had one guiding philosophy.
It's true. From a simple jewelry repair to that very important diamond engagement ring, we treat every customer like family.
Because you're sharing your life with us. That's the only way we know how to do business. I'm Dylan.
And I'm Shayna Williams. We're generational jewelers, creating heirlooms for the next generation.
Whether you're looking for that perfect diamond engagement ring, fine Swiss watch, or a custom piece, or that once-in-a-lifetime treasure,
we're here to make all your precious moments unforgettable. 3 generations of fine jewelry expertise right here in Colorado.
If you can dream it, it's here at Williams Jewelers of Inglewood.
Because we're not only one of America's largest fine jewelers,
we're Colorado's premier jeweler.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
Williams Jewelers of Inglewood, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
The AutoNation Flash Sale has been extended. It's your last chance. Drive with 0 down plus 0 payments till June. Save on thousands of new cars and trucks, all your favorite makes and models. 0 down plus 0 payments till June. We'll even buy your car and pay you top dollar on the spot. The AutoNation Flash Sale has been extended through March 3rd, only at your nearest AutoNation.
Appraisal subject to verification. 60-month max term financing on approved credit. Interest accrues from date of purchase. See store for details.
Hey, Brandon Stokely here from my team, ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Does the air in your home feel like the desert? You don't have to suffer any longer. Get a brand new humidifier for the lowest price of the season. Everyone should breathe easy and healthy in their home. What are you waiting for? Call Rocks Heating and Air for a free, no obligation estimate. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair, ROX, Rocks, Heating and Air.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. Leading off with a big story of the day, here's The Drive with Zach By and Denver, Colorado's own Phillip Lindsay.
1 hour in the books. Quicker than a New York minute. Hanging out with you here on a Monday, March 2nd. Thankful for your presence here with us today on a Monday. That first hour did really fly by, hanging out with my buddy James Marilat, doing a show with James for the first time in at least a year. Appreciate you pinch hitting today, James.
No problem. Excited to do it. You only really got upset with me once in the first hour.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Yes.
Not bad.
Over a beef that is 5 years old regarding Javonte Williams.
I don't mind circling back to it.
You know what? It's my preference as well. So we can do that anytime you want. I want to shift gears here. The voice guy at the top of hour number 2, the big story of the day. I do really believe that the Denver Nuggets and what is happening with this basketball team right now, it's the biggest story in Denver sports. That's going to change in a couple days or here later in the week as NFL free agency is now just 7 days away.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that here in hour number 2, I believe, at some point here. The question that I ask, going into the last break, are the Nuggets actually contenders, or are we chasing ghosts of a banner hung years ago? The parade wasn't yesterday or the day before. The Denver Nuggets are no longer standing in the shadow of the 2023 championship. It's 2026. This is a team that hasn't been out of the playoffs, hasn't been out of the second round in consecutive years. And just lost over the weekend to both of the opponents that have ejected them from the postseason. And I have to almost check myself because, James, honestly, I believe that this team still is capable of winning a championship. That's what I believe in my heart. But my head is starting to doubt it. And it's not based on just what happened over the weekend. It is the big picture themes that have developed over the last 5 months. An inability to win games at home. Kind of important. They lost 7 games at home the entire season, the year of the NBA championship. They lost one game at home, guys. One in the NBA playoffs on their way to a championship. I have a source that says you were in the building that night for that loss.
That might be true. Yes. My one game that I sprung to go to.
Unbelievable.
Was the one of the 10.
But they like an inability to win at home. That's a problem. That's a big picture problem. An inability to win close games. The quite opposite of the hallmark that you used to be known by. And I know our audience has heard me say this, but I haven't said it to you personally. Maybe you've heard me say it driving around. I used to say if you're even, you're beat with the Nuggets, like a speedy receiver. If you're even, you're beat. And that's not only no longer the case, it's become a disadvantage to be in a clutch game with the Nuggets. That's a big picture theme that expands beyond the weekend, and it's concerning. And no one, I can promise you, no one is thinking about Nuggets injuries beyond the Denver market. It's the reality of their season. It's the hand that they've been dealt, and I don't have a good feeling here on a Monday, and maybe I'm overreacting a little bit based on what happened over the weekend, but I'm concerned.
No, I am as well. It's too big a sample size. 35 games going 17 and 18. That's too big a sample size to just dismiss it of, they've got injuries. They do, and it's been a hodgepodge of lineups seemingly all season long. And right now they're playing one, maybe 2 guys that are starting that will be coming off the bench if everybody's healthy. One for sure, right? AG's going to start. So it's like, okay, somebody who's getting a ton of minutes now and out there to start each half won't be once the playoffs roll around, hopefully. All right, that's not an excuse. That's just the reality of it. The not winning at home thing is odd to me because I've lived here my entire life. There have been some pretty mediocre Nuggets teams that were really good at home. Right? You have the built-in advantage of the altitude. You also have the built-in advantage of just kind of the way the schedule works, that you get a lot of teams coming into Denver it's the 6th game of a 6-game Western road trip. They're stopping on their way back east, and they just want to get it over with, right? Like that is just the reality of it. There's some built-in freebies. A lot of teams with load management say, and we haven't seen that as much this year, but it'll say, Denver, that's a good one to take the night off.
Sure.
We don't need them running up and down the floor at altitude. That's the scheduled night off. So the fact that they're that mediocre at home is a worry. This also is a team, though, that won 11 consecutive road games, 12, 10. It was double digits.
Yeah, I think it was 11 at one point. It was definitely 11 at one point. I forget if it got to 12.
So, yeah, they're a bad home team, but they're also a really good road team.
Which could be a good sign because that's where you may be starting in the first round, by the way.
They're going to have to win playoff games on the road if they're going to advance. They're just going to have to for two reasons. One, they might not have home court advantage. Two, there's no guarantee they're going to win their home games based on the way they've played at home this season. There are some positives, right? Like that's one.
I mean, but think about how hard we're looking for positives of like, hey, well, if they're not going to host a first round series in the NBA playoffs, at least they're good on the road. Like, I'm not saying it's not true, but I think it's indicative of where we're at because we're searching for stuff with a magnifying glass here. Like this is the 5th seed after yesterday. The 5th seed.
I get it, and it's disappointing, and it was a disappointing weekend. And again, there's no such thing as moral victories, but they had a wide open shot with 8 seconds left in overtime. If they hit it, they win at Oklahoma City. Like. So that's how close they are, and close only counts. I get it, and horseshoes and hand grenades, but they missed the shot.
They missed the shot, and it was an overtime period that Oklahoma City opted to sit the league's MVP.
If I'd have said, though, on Halloween, if I'd have sat here, and I would have listed the amount of time that Jokic is going to miss, and that AG is going to miss, and Payton Watson, and everybody else, and I said, hey, they're going to be playing games in February and March with Julian Strawther starting. What's their record going to be on March 2nd?
Yeah.
Would you have been that far off from where they are?
No, I couldn't believe that they went 10-6 in the 16 games without Nikola Jokic. Now, that was the single softest portion of the schedule. Like, we know that. And this is what else deserves to be mentioned here. The Denver Nuggets, guys, who just dropped to the 5th seed yesterday, are now facing the single toughest schedule for any team in the NBA moving forward.
That's not good news.
It's not.
This is a team that could they figure it out, get hot, get back to the 2 or 3 seed? Sure. Could this continue and they fall into a play-in game? Sure. Like that wouldn't shock me either. But I guess in terms of how much I'm going to panic, and the question leading into the segment was, are they a contender? Well, right now, the team we watched this weekend, no, they're not. But when they get Aaron Gordon back, they get Payton Watson back. Do you think they're a contender?
Yes, I know they are.
Me too.
I know they are.
So I get it. All the things we're talking about here and the 35-game sample size, are they concerns? Yes. But there is always that caveat of, but they're not healthy. When they're healthy, what team in the league can they not beat in a 7-game series?
They can beat any team in the league, I think, when healthy. But the reality of the situation is they're not. This is not a isolated sample size. Aaron Gordon has pulled his hamstring 3 times within a 10-month period. And I'm just telling you, like, I am going to be holding my breath every single time that dude is playing back. Because here's the thing, James, and this speaks to the larger theme that I think is fair to be deeply concerned about. Aaron Gordon hasn't played 16 consecutive games since they won the championship. Think about that.
Right. So the odds of them being healthy,
right? It's
quote
like,
unquote.
We're reacting to years of sample size at this point. So I have Nikola Jokic, who hasn't won, and I can't believe this is true, but you can Google it for yourself. Nikola Jokic hasn't won back-to-back games with the Nuggets since the week before Christmas. It's March. This is a team that their superpower in the clutch is now a detriment. This is a team that in their last 10 games against winning teams are 1-9. This is a team that doesn't win games at home. I mean, all this stuff, you put it all together, and it's like, yes, I know in my gut that this team can beat anyone, but at a certain point, like, are they just this? Like, are they just this?
Maybe, but also the reality is, if we sat here and wrote down the Nuggets' 7 best players, 5 of them, 6 of them will be reevaluated in 4 weeks, right? These aren't injuries where it keeps them out a couple of games.
Sure.
I mean, everybody but Jamal, basically, in terms of their best players, 5 or 6 guys have missed a month plus. It's not only does that hurt you because, hey, you're just shorthanded, but you also get no chemistry. Nobody develops roles. Nobody knows, all right, I'm a 12-minute-a-night guy versus I'm a 24-minute-a-night guy, and it's different to try and be productive in either one of those roles. You got to get used to it. I'm coming off the bench. I'm not coming off the bench. If you're David Adelman, you got to figure out, okay, well, who's the guy that can sit there for 20 minutes of real time, get up off the bench and go out there and actually be effective right away? Some guys can do that. Some guys can't. Like, it's been almost impossible to figure out rotations, who plays well together, who meshes. Like, again, I'm not trying to make excuses, but literally every guy that you were counting on heading into the season, other than Jamal, knock on wood,
which is crazy because his reliability
the one guy
rating,
you would have thought,
right,
has had that dreaded tweet come out, will be reevaluated in 4 weeks. Like, that's been the theme of the season.
Yeah.
If you were writing a book about the Nuggets season, that's what you would title it. They'll be reevaluated in 4 weeks. It's been staggering, almost laughable how many times that has happened this year. So I think it's hard to judge the roster. I think it's hard to judge the coach totally.
Man.
But that said, we give them a ton of credit for going 10-6 with Jokic out. Then we got to be critical of what they've been since Jokic got back. You can't have it both ways.
Correct. Which, since Jokic has returned here, you're talking about the team's 5-8. 5-8. You know, in the last 35 games, 17-18. And I don't look. The league itself has been hit with a rash of injuries. Like the NBA itself, like from Giannis Antetokounmpo to Jason Tatum, still hasn't checked in a game yet this year, to Golden State, you know, Jimmy Butler's knee explodes and all this stuff. Houston, no doubt. San Antonio, no doubt. So like injuries, when they're sitting in San Antonio or they're sitting in Houston and, you know, they lose their starting point guard, they're not talking like, well, you know, but look what's going on in Denver too. Like no one really cares. And this is the reality of their situation. Like it is reality. It's no one's real fault, but it's like this is the season. We're coming down the back stretch of it. It's been disjointed from start to finish. And do we believe that with the short runway that they'll have when AG comes back, which we still don't know, can you figure all of this stuff out and go win the NBA championship? And how tough it is to go and accomplish that, I doubt is just, and maybe I'll feel better tomorrow, or maybe I'll feel better Wednesday, but doubt,
well, you won't if they lose to Utah tonight.
right. Who is purposefully trying not to win games. But like when Phil Jackson says, you are not a contender if you are losing your 20th game before your 40th win, that 40-20 rule, and you can only find 4 champions in the history of the sport since the invention of the three-point line that have defied the 40-20 rule. Is this team exceptional enough to be the 5th team since the three-point line to defy that history that is staring me right in the face?
All right, but I would ask Phil, I would say, hey, Phil, Mike missed a month, Scotty missed a month, Horace missed a month, Kerr missed a month, and, you know, come up with a couple other guys who missed a month. Bill Wennington, I don't know, come up with a couple other guys. They all missed a month. Are you still applying your 40-20 rule? Or when they all come back in the last month and a half of the season and you're healthy for the playoffs, do you like your chances with that team?
No, and I understand what you're saying, but typically the teams, and this is the harsh reality, and it just gets to the core of this, typically the teams that go through the stuff that the Nuggets have gone through by no fault of their own, they don't win championships.
I think that's fair. All right, I mean, that's the beauty of history. We can look back and see this just doesn't happen. You're not just going to all come together and all of a sudden, I mean, look, one, are you all of a sudden going to come back and gel? I don't know. And when you've had this kind of season of injuries, what are the odds when they all come back, they're all going to stay healthy?
Right.
Like,
Right.
there's nothing pointing to that happening.
Right.
So there are reasons to be concerned. There's reasons for doubt to be creeping in.
What's the biggest concern of all the stuff that we talk about? They can't win games at home. They are not good in the clutch. They are not a good team when they play other good teams. They're 1-9 against in their last 10 games against just winning teams. What sticks out as for you as the single most concerning dynamic amongst the really 4 or 5 that we can point to?
The fact that they're not good in the clutch.
Me too.
Because in playoff games, that's how you win games.
Bingo.
You're not going to go out and boat race teams by 30.
Nope.
You're not going to run them off the floor because they're not interested in playing at altitude, right? Every team takes every possession serious. Every game's going to be close. You're going to have to be able to execute in those moments. I did not like that they always ran with Michael Malone the two-man game. It was just two-man game, two-man game, two-man game. But, man, they had it down.
They did. And it no longer works the same.
It does not. It does not. And whether it's Jamal getting double-teamed and turning the ball over 30 feet from the basket when they're trying to run it in the final couple of minutes, it's just like it just looks ugly. And I do think one of the issues with it is they don't have the guy standing in the corner that you can knock down threes.
And I'm glad you brought that up because I teased this last week, and we never circled back to it. And you brought up the gravity that Michael Porter Jr. would pull to the corners. So just to put it in its simplest form, okay? At the end of Nuggets games, for years, they run a pick and roll with Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. Aaron Gordon is in the dunker spot, and you have shooters in each corner. Now, you run the two-man game with Jamal and Jokic. There's no Aaron Gordon in the corner, or in the what we used to call the short corner. Now they call it the dunker spot. And the two players in the corners are Cam Johnson and Christian Brown.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I have zero faith. I have about as much faith as Christian Brown himself shooting it when he shoots it. He does not look comfortable out there at all. And then with Cam Johnson, and we need to talk about him, like you talk about, I am watching the least confident like frontline NBA player that I maybe have ever seen. And the fact that I was positive, James, I was certain this thing was going to be a hand and glove fit. Cam Johnson, I'm drawing from 7 years of a career. Super smart basketball player. Super smart. And he does all the little things right. He's always in the right spots and his rotations and all this stuff. But the hallmark of your game is knocking down shots. And he's the best shooter that doesn't knock down shots.
Well, you think back to when they won the title. In one corner was MPJ, the other corner was KCP.
Yeah.
I mean, not even close in terms of who you trust more than the current group.
Right.
Like it's been an issue, and MPJ drove people nuts, and I get it. Part of it's just sort of his demeanor, right? Like he's just one of those guys that looks like he's going half speed even when he's not going half speed. And part of that's because his game is kind of a smooth game, and it's a little bit effortless. You know, he's not Dennis Rodman diving into the stands for loose balls.
No.
He's just not going to be that guy.
The time he did dive, he hurt his shoulder.
He got hurt. Exactly. But I think people now, and a lot of people, and I was on with them this morning, I mentioned it at the morning show, those guys beat up MPJ constantly, criticizing him last year for the way he played in the playoffs and making fun of the diaper he had on his shoulder. There's a lot of guys, especially in that league, who, if they can't go out there and do what they normally do, they're in street clothes. And I think he deserved a lot of credit for being out there. And, you know, sometimes just having him stand in the corner, even if he's not being very effective, at least opens things up for other players. And everybody, all the quote-unquote basketball experts, told me this was going to be an upgrade. It sure as heck doesn't look like an upgrade now.
Well, hold on a second. Let's not do revisionist history. How were you feeling about the trade when it happened?
MPJ's, and people are going to laugh at this, MPJ is one of my favorite Nuggets of all time. So I was down about it from I really like watching that guy play, but it was time. It was time to try something different.
It was time, and also it wasn't a one-for-one trade.
That's
the wrong way to look at it, because this team has lacked depth in a way.
How's that depth look now, though?
Well, here's the thing. The only reason that they are the 5th seed is because that depth was on display with 16 games without Jokic for the first time. So it was really like Cam Johnson, Jonas Valanciunas, Bruce Brown for MPJ. Now let me just say this, because we have breaking news here in real time that I want to share, okay? News has just come across the timeline, and we can circle back to this because I want to, because we need to talk further about the Cam Johnson situation. Sham Charania, 1 minute ago, tweets out free agent guard Tyus Jones has agreed to sign with the Denver Nuggets. His agent of Lift Sports Management tells ESPN, a veteran point guard and ball handler to fill a need for the Nuggets backcourt. I don't want to misrepresent this, that this is prime Chris Paul coming in, but this is a big deal to just add to the depth another ball handler and a higher floor of a ball handler behind Jamal Murray.
Yeah, that's been a need in years past, right? Like, Bruce Brown comes in, and he was the guy that did that in the championship year, right? He was the backup point guard essentially. So he was when Jamal would be off the floor, Bruce would be on the floor. Having somebody else who can do that, okay, that's nice. But does this change your theory of, is this a contender?
No, but it's helpful. Like, this is good news, in my opinion. This is good news. How good of news? I'm not sure yet, because I got to see how it looks. But a veteran, high floor ball handler that's going to play, like, he'll play every single night.
It's hard for me to get excited about a true point guard coming into Denver when I watch this team in the playoffs the last 2-3 years, and feels like 90% of the time, Jokic or AG's bringing the ball up the floor.
Yeah.
Or when they play Minnesota, they're pressuring Jamal for 90 feet.
Yep.
And he's exhausted by the time he struggles to get the ball up the court, and they have 14 seconds to run their offense. So maybe this will change it, but you're not going to take Jamal off the floor that much. So I guess I'll be interested to see how Adelman uses him and how this affects things. But it's a weird team when your center handles the ball as much as the Nuggets center does.
Sure.
I'm not sure how much a true point guard, quote unquote, really impacts this team. I'm not saying it's a bad move, but
no, it's
I don't know
not.
that it's a game changer.
No, I wouldn't frame it like that either. I would not frame it like that. But I think it's a good move, and I think that in general it's good news. It's good news adding another ball handler, because we've been talking about that for months here. Now, defensively, Tyus Jones, he's not going to make this team better defensively, I can promise you. But I think in general, picking between, hey, is this a nothing burger or is it good news? I think it's good news. But with the Cam Johnson stuff, I'm watching a player who, like, from a body language standpoint, and 80% of language is nonverbal, I'm watching someone who is in his head to a degree that is really unhealthy. And he is, like, moping. His energy, let me just say it, like, plainly, his energy sucks right now. And I just can't believe that we're to a point with this guy that I thought was going to be such a great fit. And from a basketball IQ standpoint, shot-making standpoint, creation standpoint, none of it's worked. Like, none of it. It's been an experiment gone wrong, it feels like.
Well, and I know it wasn't a one-for-one trade, but he did come here in the MPJ trade. And the number one thing people criticized MPJ for was a lack of toughness, physically and mentally.
Holy smokes, that's on the table for Cam Johnson. He does not look like a guy that you want next to you in a bar fight.
Well, if we'd have seen a performance out of MPJ like we saw out of Cam Johnson yesterday,
he'd be up on a cross.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, people would be all over him. And I get it. Part of it was the contract. And he's also a guy, like, when you have that much potential and you don't look like you're living up to it or don't feel like you're living up to it, people are all over you. Where, like, Cam Johnson, I don't know that anybody looks at him and says, boy, he just doesn't work hard enough to live up to his God-given ability and his potential.
No.
And I think that is why MPJ got some of that grief of, like, dude, you should be an all-star.
Yeah, at one point he was the projected number one pick in the draft.
Yeah, like, what's going on here? But that trade, I mean, Bruce Brown's been good, so the fact that you freed up enough money to get him in here, positive. But otherwise,
I was going to say, and that's why really it's a 4-for-1. I would do the trade all over again for Valanciunas, for Tim Hardaway, for Bruce Brown, and for Cam Johnson. Now, there's still time for him. There's still time. If he made that shot on Friday night, it would have served as a baptism of sorts and washing away a lot of sins here. But we're deep enough in the season, and now he's hurt again. He's hurt again. You know, with an ankle injury.
Evaluated in 4 weeks, or what are we doing?
It's not one of those, but he's not going to play tonight. And so it's just, it's not good. It hasn't been good. There was never any point where it was like, that's the Cam Johnson game. Like, it's never come. And here we are in the month of March. And now, by the way, what they were doing yesterday, they're targeting him defensively Bones Highland is screaming to his bench, he can't guard me, talking about Cam Johnson.
Well, and that's where it was supposed to be the biggest improvement was defensively. I haven't seen it. I really haven't.
He's better than MPJ.
Is he?
He is. Oh, no, for sure. He is.
Is he better defensively and better on the glass than MPJ?
Well, now you're adding other things to it. Is he
Well,
better
I
on the
think
glass?
that's part of
it. It's a push, but he's definitively better than MPJ defensively. He does a bunch of little things defensively, but that's not supposed to be the hallmark of your game.
But you know what? When somebody tells me, and I'm not, you know more about basketball than I do, so I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you completely. But when somebody tells me a basketball player does a lot of little things, that's like when somebody says the guy on the Broncos, he's a great special teams player. Really? How many times are you breaking down the film of him running down on a kick?
Well, I'm just saying.
That's what they say when they just want to say something nice about a guy.
No. I'm watching the games. I see what he does. He does a bunch of little things, like all his, like from a basketball IQ standpoint, like he's really smart. He has a very high basketball intellect that shows up in ways that you're not going to find in the box score. But at the same time, that's tertiary, considering why you're here and are on an $80 million contract is because you make shots. He's shooting like 30% from three on the season. This isn't about a stretch of time that's a week or two or a month or 2 months. It's been bad. It was never good.
Well, in doing the little things defensively on a team that isn't very good defensively,
great.
They kind of get lost.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. All right. If you want to react to any of that conversation, you can hit us up, ramoslaw.com, text line 303-713-1043. Okay, the NFL Combine came and went. What players popped at a Broncos position of need? That's next.
After moving on from another defensive coordinator, are rough waters ahead for Coach Prime and the Bucks.
My true feelings as of right now, this is not good for CU. I don't think it's a positive outlook for what's coming at CU. And I'm being sincere here. This is not a promotion.
Denver Sports 1043. The Fan.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hi there, I'm Kim Rudell, owner of Wills and Wellness Estate Planning. If you've been putting off doing your estate plan, it's time to stop pushing your luck. It's never too late to get your estate plan in place. No more excuses. Our team makes the process and experience positive, straightforward, and even fun. Come see us and let us help you make a plan to secure your future and the future of your loved ones. Find us at willsandwellness.com or give us a call at 720-266-8190.
I'm U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy.
The sound of a seatbelt. It's one of the most important sounds in our car. It means everyone is ready and everyone is safe. The more our kids see us put on our seatbelts, the more natural it is for them to put theirs on too. Make it a priority. Buckle up every time. Hear the sound? Make it a habit.
Paid for by NHTSA.
Winter is in full swing, and Aleve is here to keep you moving. When the cold weather sets in, everyday aches and pains can linger, but Aleve's got your back. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, Aleve keeps you going with long-lasting body pain relief to get you through whatever the season brings. Chilly days or cozy nights, Aleve gives you that long-lasting body pain relief you can count on this winter. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
Hey guys, boy Stink here today about my long-term buddy Troy Hansford. And if you're thinking about selling your house for any reason, now might be the time to sell, still get top dollar. Believe it or not, my guy Troy is still offering his $5,000 guarantee. What is it, you ask? Well, if you can't sell your house at your price on your timeline that you agree upon beforehand, bam, going to cut you a check for $5,000. Who else makes the offer? Nobody I've ever heard of. And he makes that offer because he continues to spend a ton of money marketing his listings, has about 100 families approved and ready to buy right now. And if for any reason you need to sell right away, Troy can buy your house, all cash, and he can close in as little as 7 days. You have a house to sell, Troy probably has that perfect buyer for you right now, waiting for you to pick up the phone and to call him. Call Troy, get your home sold for the most money. That's 720-900-4433, 720-900-4433. Troy Hansford of RE/MAX Professionals, a Colorado licensed broker. Some restrictions do apply. Want to sell your house? Then call my buddy Troy, 720-900-4433.
You know what it takes to win: the preparation, the game plan, the refusal to quit when things get hard. You bring that same mentality to your business every single day. But even the best teams need fans in the seats. At Denver Sports, we put your business in front of Denver's most passionate, loyal audience, on air, online, and on the big screen. You've got the drive, we've got the reach. Visit us online at DenverSports.com. Let's build your roster.
At Common Spirit Health, we don't just see a cancer diagnosis. We see you, and you don't have to do this alone. We believe you should be surrounded by your people, so you can keep them close while you get care close to home. Supported by our care team from diagnosis to treatment and beyond, and strengthened by treatment tailored to you. Because there's no one-size-fits-all approach to cancer care. Find cancer care with human kindness close to you at mountain.commonspirit.org.
Colorado, this is it. 2026 RV product rollouts are live at the Great American RV Show. Airstream Stetson 4.6s, New Trade Wind, Unmapped, Bliss Mobile, Chinook, Storyteller GXV. March 12th through the 14th, Colorado Convention Center. $12 online. See it first.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and their thousands of great reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today and see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text SECURE to the number 989898 for your free gold IRA info kit. Again, SECURE to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
Hi, Dan Cicchini with Dunright. Great pricing options and bank financing? You bet. Kitchens, baths, counters, and floors, finished basements, windows, and doors. Dunright since 1985. You have our word, we'll treat you right at Dunright. Visit drhi.com. Thanks.
Every day at 3:30, the drive comes off the top rope to hit you with a 1, 2, 3.
Finally, The Rock has come back to Denver!
Tape your wrists, stretch your spandex, and oil your hair. Here's Zach and Phil with today's 3 count on the drive.
All right, let's come off the top rope with it! 1! All right, here on a Monday, James Marilat filling in for Phillip Lindsay today. NFL Combine came and went. Did you take in any of the Combine stuff?
A little bit. It's like background noise. It's kind of like having a baseball game on in the summertime.
Sure.
You know, it's just on while you're kind of coming in and out of the house, doing chores, working the grill.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's on the TV.
Well, I had one eye on it, and I think there's 2 guys that really improved their draft stock that could intersect with the Denver Broncos. Now, trying to figure out who they're going to go with, like what actual human being they'll go with in mid-rounds is almost impossible. It's almost impossible what they're going to do at 30, right? It's like a lot easier when you're picking 5th, right? But I think there's 2 names to keep an eye on. One is Mike Washington Jr., all right? Mike Washington Jr. ran a 4.33 second 40-yard dash to lead all running backs. According to ESPN research, his 40 time was the fastest 40 time over the last 20 combines for players with at least weighing at least 220 pounds. All right. He produced on the football field this past year. He averaged his 1,070 yards, 8 touchdowns last season. His 6.5 yards per rush ranked top 20 among FBS running backs. He's a Razorback for Arkansas, and I think that he's going to be like a third-round pick. He really improved his stock. It could make some sense for the Denver Broncos there. Maybe late second round, maybe early third round.
Normally, I don't get too caught up in somebody's 40 time, right? Because they're out there, they're not wearing pads. And how often in a game are you running in a straight line, right? It's like, well, does this really translate?
Yep.
That said, if you look at the Broncos offense, and we all agree they need to add skill position guys. They need to add weapons. Now, we may disagree on how we rank them. I have running back lower and you have them higher, but they need some speed. They need some guys that scare you if you're the opposing defensive coordinator. They really have one guy right now that from a speed standpoint, you're like, what are we going to do with that guy?
Marvin Mims?
Marvin Mims. And he's a guy they can't figure out how to use him.
Correct.
At the end of every season, they say, well, we needed to use Marvin Mims more. It's like, okay.
Yep.
His rookie year, you can get away with that, Sean. Year after year after year, you can't keep saying that, where either we needed to use him more or you don't figure it out until week 12, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, he was pretty good late in the year.
We're going into year 4.
Right, exactly. So, but that's it. Like, there are other receivers, whether you like them or don't like them, none of them are speed guys that scare you. Their running backs don't fall into that category. Certainly, they don't have a tight end. They're like, oh, he could take it the distance.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't have a guy other than Marvin Mims, which we can think of a couple right off the top of our head. But who else on this roster can catch the ball and the old DT bubble screen that goes for 85 yards? They don't have anybody that's in that class of just speed and game breaker. So, again, normally I'm not too enamored with the stopwatch.
Yeah.
But with this team, they need to add some speed. On that side of the ball, they need speed in a big way.
And the reason I bring up Mike Washington Jr. is not just because of the 40 time, but it's the production that then matches up with the elite speed, right? He's a 1,000-yard guy in the SEC, 6.5 yards a carry in the SEC. Like, that's significant. And then you get the 40 time to validate the production on tape. Another guy that I just think is interesting, just to keep your eye out for, that helped his case over the weekend, is wide receiver from Tennessee, Chris Brazzell. He ran a 4.37 at 6'4". That's a really fast time for a body size that's that big. Sean Payton loves his taller receivers. He was a 1,000-yard guy in the SEC as well for Tennessee. 9 touchdown catches. He averaged over 16 yards per catch and just had 2 drops the entire season. So you're getting real production in a Power 4 conference. 1,000-yard guy, big play guy, reliable guy. And I think that at 30, it's going to be a guy like that is attainable for the Denver Broncos. And again, so that's just a name to keep an eye on. Chris Brazzell from Tennessee.
Again, those numbers jump out at me, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm interested because they need weapons. But with a rookie wide receiver, I get, especially if it's not a first-round pick, and even at 30, I don't know if it would fall into this category. What rookie wide receiver is going to come in here, though, and make Sean fall out of love with his young receivers? He seems to love those guys. Right? Like, I think they're vastly overrated. I think it's a bunch of guys would be unfair. But I feel like they got a bunch of 6s and 7s.
Who's at the top of that list in your mind's eye when you say that?
I think Pat Bryant is probably the best of the bunch.
I agree.
So, I mean, the best of the bunch of the last 2 years is currently playing in New Orleans, or was last year.
Oh, people are going to get offended. People are going to get offended.
Devon Bailey is better than any of the young receivers on that roster right now.
I agree.
But they love that group. So if you draft a guy for him to come in and be productive, he's going to have to move over 1, maybe 2 of those guys. And I find that hard to believe that a rookie receiver is going to come in and be that dramatic in training camp, in the preseason, and early in the season to where they're really going to have any impact, because that would mean Sean Payton, George Payton, whoever is falling out of love with their rookie or their young receivers. And I just don't know that that's going to happen.
All right, we'll see how they operate here. Those are just a few names to keep an eye on that popped at the Combine.
1, 2.
Man, really sad story in Boulder. Quarterback Dominique Ponder died early Sunday morning after being involved in a single-car crash. According to the Colorado State Patrol, the crash occurred around 3 o'clock in the morning. He was driving a Tesla, lost control on a curve. The car went across the eastbound lane, struck a guardrail, and then like a telephone pole before rolling down an embankment, and the car actually caught on fire. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Just a horrible, 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 horrible story that hits me different now that I'm a dad, because someone got a call.
Yeah.
Someone got a call.
Someone got a phone call at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Right? That's a call that, when the phone rings that time of night, it's never going to be good news. And somebody just, so young, so much life ahead of them, and just such an unfortunate, unnecessary, it's a tragedy in every possible way.
It is.
Really, really sad story out of Boulder. And I think do they start spring practice today?
Tomorrow, I believe.
So, you're going into the season, going into the spring anyway with heavy hearts for sure. So, yeah, terrible news to wake up to on Sunday morning.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we'll leave that right where it is. Thoughts and prayers to his family. That young man gone way too soon. Speaking of Boulder, ESPN did a way too early college football hot seat tiers list. Was Deion on the list? Yes, he was, and we'll tell you where next.
There are people who are excited about the new play caller for the Denver Broncos. And then there's Mike Evans.
Sean Payton is out of the way.
Right.
And now Davis Webb. We've got our next Sean McVay. Our new Sean McVay is here. And this is going to be a top 5 scoring offense next year. I can't wait. It should be, right?
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
What is going on, everybody? Phillip Lindsay here with the one and only Williams Jewelers. And guys, I know there's at least 50 of you listening to me right now who are thinking about popping that question here soon. Am I right? And if I am right, because I usually am, you know you need a diamond. So let me save you some time and money by telling you something as simple as this. Whether you're starting your next chapter with your perfect diamond engagement ring, or celebrating a new milestone, or finally just doing something special for yourself for once, because everybody deserves to be spoiled, this is where it all begins. Imagine the finest jewelry legends all in one store together, making you feel just like family, and their service is going to reflect that. So come shop the finest loose diamonds in Denver. They have every size, shape, and price range you can imagine, and the largest selection of engagement ring settings I've ever set eyes on. And not only are they going to share the secret to the business with you, but they're going to give you the best price in Colorado, guaranteed. So why wouldn't you want to create moments and memories for yourself and the ones you love by going to Williams Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche, Denver's first family of fine jewelers, located in Cherry Creek North on 3rd Avenue, and also in Inglewood at Broadway and Bellevue. And don't forget to mention my name, Phillip Lindsay, when you step through one of those doors.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The right financial strategies can make a huge difference, especially if you're nearing retirement. Adam Mueller talks retirement strategies with Mile High Money. Saturday mornings at 8 on Denver Sports 104.3, The Fan.
The AutoNation flash sale has been extended. It's your last chance. Drive with 0 down plus 0 payments till June. Save on thousands of new cars and trucks, all your favorite makes and models. 0 down plus 0 payments till June. We'll even buy your car and pay you top dollar on the spot. The AutoNation flash sale has been extended through March 3rd, only at your nearest AutoNation.
Appraisal subject to verification. 60-month max term financing on approved credit. Interest accrues from date of purchase. See store for details.
High five! Up top! Dave's company just got the 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Yeah! It's 5 years of gig speed internet, advanced security, and a great rate that won't change. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Yeah.
He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread.
Yes!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee. Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping.
For a limited time, now through March 29th, switch to Comcast Business to lock in your rate for 5 years and get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Or ask how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Don't wait. Call today. Restrictions apply. New customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. Paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account required. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge excluding taxes and fees.
At Belco Credit Union, we want to make your dream renovation a reality. Maybe that means a modern kitchen upgrade or a luxurious new bathroom. With Belco's Home Equity Choice line, you can get easy access to funds with the freedom and convenience of a home equity line of credit, plus the security and stability of a home equity loan. Plus, Belco is also offering low rates for qualified borrowers. Learn more at belco.org/choiceline. Belco is an equal opportunity housing lender. Belco, banking for everyone.
Thinking about upgrading your home's HVAC? Then Day and Night Mechanical Solutions of Denver can help and save you money. You may qualify for up to $20,000 in rebates through the Colorado HERE program and Excel Energy for energy-efficient heat pump systems. Day and Night Mechanical has the inside track on this program and will guide you through every step. Upgrade your HVAC and save big bucks. Visit dnmech.com. Act now while the offer lasts. Day and Night Mechanical Solutions. They fix it right, day and night.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan's brought to you by Williams Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
Want to partake in our contests? Check out the rules at DenverSports.com. Stream Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Dover and Cecil, The Drive, and all your favorite shows on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, DenverSports.com, and the Denver Sports app. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, as we roll along here, I got to call out a name here. Paul Foote. You could be heading to Vegas for the biggest pro wrestling event in the world thanks to 303 Law 4040. Call us back within the next 10 minutes at 303-713-1043 to be entered into our drawing for the Superfan Send-Off Grand Prize, a pair of 2 nights tickets to the event, round-trip airfare for 2 from Denver to Las Vegas, 2 nights hotel stay, and a $500 Visa gift card. Paul Foote. Call us now at 303-713-1043. If you haven't already signed up, there's still time. Head to DenverSports.com/superfan and make sure to listen weekdays every hour between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. to hear if your name is called. Okay, so ESPN.com put out a piece. It was a way too early college football coaching hot seat tiers. All right. Was Deion Sanders on the list? He was. These were the categories, and you tell me where you think he falls. There was the hottest, and James Marilat filling in for Phillip Lindsay today. The categories were the hottest, want it to work, it'll cost us, need progress, or retirement watch. Which one do you think, and I believe that Deion could qualify for a few of these.
That's what I was going to say. I think all apply.
What do you think, what category do you think they put Deion in?
What it'll cost us means if it doesn't go well this year, it's going to be a lot of money to make a change?
Yeah, like the buyout, I believe, yeah.
Well, given the financial situation of the CU athletic program, boy, that one's pretty tempting because they could go 2-10, and I don't know that they can afford to make a change.
They can't.
And
they won't.
That one, I feel like that needs to apply to schools like Florida or whoever, where it's like, hey, we'll pay whatever. We're getting out of this thing. If it doesn't work out, we're spending the money. We're writing the check. We're moving on. I don't think that can apply to CU because it doesn't matter how bad it is. They're not going to buy him out. They're not going to fire him and continue to pay that contract.
Agreed.
I don't think he's in the hottest. I don't think it, for that reason. Want it to work? Sure. I'm going to go need progress. I'm going to go need progress because I think last year was set up to be a step backward when you lose the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, when you lose the greatest quarterback in the history of the program. That's going to take a step back. It wasn't a 3-9 step back. It needed to be 6-6 type of step back.
But because here, hold on, I gotta give you baby pushback. Dion told me that last year's team was better than the 9-win team.
I know.
He didn't hint at it. He said our team this year is better. Like those two guys were great, but we have a better all-around team. And then they proceeded to win 3 games.
Dion saying that though is a little bit like Von Miller getting up there and telling you how much he loves the latest Broncos quarterback. He loved all of them.
He did.
Every guy they brought in. Well, I love this guy. So,
Yeah, it's true.
Take it with a grain of salt, right?
Sure.
So I'm going to go need progress because if this team goes 6-6, 7-5, that'd be a step in the right direction. It would take them off of, oh my God, what are they going to do? Watch. I mean, not a huge accomplishment, but if they were at least bowl eligible, this isn't looking like just a disaster with no way of being fixed up there.
Right.
So I'm going to go need progress because in order to avoid sheer panic, emergency, every alarm going off, you have to have progress up in Boulder this year.
So they actually put him in the retirement watch category because of all the stuff that he has going on, his bladder and blood clots and all that stuff. That probably is the... And I don't want to sound insensitive when I say this, but if I'm looking at it, the situation pragmatically, meaning removing any emotion from it and just looking at the situation for what it is, that's probably the cleanest way for these parties to move on. Because you're spot on. If the Buffs don't have a good season, and I'm not expecting them to have a good season, they can't fire him because he's on the hook for too much money. The greatest sin in all of this was not hiring Deion Sanders. I loved the move, and even looking back on it, still believe it was the right move for CU football at the time. The great sin here was signing him to the new contract that paid him a top 5 coach in the sport based off a single season that the substance you were drawing from to pay him top 5 was the season that you didn't get to even your own conference championship game, when you did have arguably the greatest quarterback in the history of your school, and you did have the Heisman Trophy. Like, it was a 9-win season. And I think that CU overreacted, maybe based off fear that he could go somewhere else, or, what was life like before Prime, and, go ahead and we're just going to drop this bag of money on his head. That was, I believe, much like the trade for Russell Wilson was not the great sin. It was doing a mega deal with 2 years currently left on the contract. And so they're in a situation where they struggle to raise enough money to pay the student athletes the $21.5 million, which, by the way, is now increasing year over year. And so you think that a school that is scheduled to take the largest financial deficit in the history of the program, who struggles to raise enough money for the revenue share, is going to write a check for $21 million for Deion to go away? Your CU Boulder is stuck with Deion Sanders regardless of what this next step looks like. And the whole situation I fear, is going to turn into a real, real disaster.
It could, but I do think, look, if they go 2-10, and this is easy to say about someone else, but Deion's made a ton of money in his life, right? As a Hall of Fame football player, was a broadcaster for a long time. He's been up at CU. This will be his 4th year, being paid pretty handsomely. Like, he should have enough money that he's fine. He's on every Aflac commercial during every CU game, so it's not as though there aren't other sources of income for him. You would hope that if it's a disaster and they go 2-10, that it's so embarrassing for a guy with that much pride and that much swagger, and that it wants to tell you how great his program is and he is and everything else.
He was asked on 60 Minutes who the best coach in the country is. He said, you're looking at him.
Correct. Is he going to just for the money, because that won't be any fun at that point.
Nope.
And that's a lot of criticism, and everybody knows you only got the job because of how much you're making and they can't afford to buy you out. Does he really want to put himself through that?
It's a lot of money.
When we have this conversation, it's why I put it in the want it to work.
Yeah.
Because just think about it's hard to remember, even though it hasn't been that long, how much fun it was a year and a half ago. And I know they didn't make the conference championship game, but if they beat KU at the end of the year, they're in it.
If they did, but they didn't.
I know, but the year before that, or 2 years before that, they were 1-11. They're one bad game, and it was a bad game. It was a game they should have won. It was a poorly coached game. They're that game away from playing in the conference title game, and if they win the conference title game, they're in the playoff. From a team that was 1-11 2 years before, I can see why at that point Rick George got all caught up in it of like, oh my God, look at this turnaround. And incorrectly assuming the curve was going to keep going up, even though Shedeur was leaving and Travis was leaving.
Yeah.
I want it to work so badly because, man, that was so much fun. And how much we've talked about CU football in the last 3 years compared to the 3 years before that.
It was, yeah. Yep, totally.
So let's hope it does. And if it's a disaster, which it could be.
It could be for sure.
I think he has enough pride. He walks away.
Well, we'll see. We'll see about that. I'm not sure I'm there with you on that. But I'll leave you with this in conclusion. There's a reason CU hired a 35-year-old athletic director. Because when you look under the hood of this thing, it's a handcuff situation moving forward. So like a athletic director that had options, real options, and wasn't like a ascending young hotshot, you look under the hood of it, it's like, I don't know if I want to handcuff myself to this situation for the next 5 years. So we'll see ultimately what it looks like moving forward. Spring practice starting tomorrow for CU. Okay, NFL free agency is 7 days away. Could there be a newfound voice on how the Broncos operate in 1 week? That's next.
Is Jets running back Breece Hall the perfect addition to the Broncos backfield?
This is the type of back that the Broncos need. You talk about a difference maker. He's a 3-down back, so he can play first down, second down, third down. Doesn't have to come off the football field, but I think this guy could be a real difference maker.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey, what's up, guys? Zach here on behalf of the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, talking to you men out there. Too many guys settle for the new normal. That isn't normal at all right? Low energy, poor sleep, falling asleep after dinner, brain fog that makes everything harder, workouts that no longer deliver results. Guys, these are classic signs of low testosterone. Most men just push through it thinking, it's just part of getting older. Guys, Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, they specialize in treating low T and men's sexual health. They have helped tens of thousands of men across the Front Range feel better, stronger, and more like themselves again. And now they offer 4 targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1, PDA, and more to help men lose weight, support metabolism, and improve gains in the gym. Guys, when you combine low T treatment with these programs, most men notice real change. Higher energy levels, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a sex drive that comes roaring back. All right, go take the 10-question quiz on low T at RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. Then you can schedule your consult. All right, call them 720-440-7900 or simply go online to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Meet Lee Platts, a renter whose possessions fill not only her apartment, but also the darkest corners of a mini storage unit. A land of both truth and fiction. Truth, everything inside is protected by Progressive. Fiction, one day Lee will fit into her clothes from senior year of high school. Renters, discover coverage for what you love and what you can't get rid of in Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
Chick-fil-A's new Frosted Sodas and Floats, it's a 10 out of 10. Hey, this is Lizzie, a team member at my local Chick-fil-A, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and new Frosted Sodas and Floats is how well they go together. You will love having your favorite soda blended with our creamy ice cream to make a new Frosted Soda or Float With the mix of the Ice Dream and Soda Fizz, it's so delicious, I call it Fizzalicious.
Order a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and a new frosted soda and float at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant. Real team member paid for their testimonial.
Ben Franklin here to talk to you about your water heater. A water heater is a vital part of your home's plumbing. When it doesn't work, it can really freeze up your routine. Call the pros at Benjamin Franklin Plumbing about water heater options for your home. Visit BenjaminFranklinPlumbing.com or call 877-BEN-1776 to request an appointment. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in their respective state or county.
You're listening to Sports Talk Radio at work. So is your competition. So are your customers. Denver sports fans don't half listen. They argue. They text in. They remember stats from 1998. They remember who sponsors their obsession. Audio, video, or online. We've got every angle covered. DenverSports.com. Make your move.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play. Stop, opt out. Terms and conditions apply to the earnings promotion.
Do you have caregiving experience as a parent, teacher, nanny, coach, or in another similar role? Hop Skip Drive is looking for experienced caregivers who want to help students in their community by driving them to and from school. Earn up to $50 per ride with Hop Skip Drive's welcome promotion, all while helping your community. If you have your own vehicle that is no more than 10 years old, a clean driving record, and at least 5 years of caregiving experience, you could become a Hop Skip Drive care driver. Just text ROAD to 323232 to get started right now. Hop Skip Drive gives you the flexibility to set your own schedule and earn competitive pay. It's simple. Drive in your free time and make a real difference for students right in your neighborhood. Don't wait. Text ROAD to 323232 right now. Text ROAD to 323232 and start earning up to $50 per ride during Hop Skip Drive's welcome promotion period. That's ROAD to 323232. Text ROAD to 323232 now.
Try Wendy's new Girl Scout Thin Mints Frosty Fusion with Girl Scout Thin Mint cookie pieces. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's and Girl Scouts of the USA.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
NFL free agency 7 days away. That's it, man. And I'm curious, James Merrilat filling in for Phillip Lindsay today, what you think their approach is going to be here 1 week from now. And also, I'm just asking the question, could there be a newfound input with the Broncos' strategy on players to target? Do you think Davis Webb, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on that whole thing because you and I haven't spoken about that. Sean giving up play calling and all that. But do you think Davis Webb has enough equity built up that he would have input of any kind, any way, shape, or form input now that he's going to be calling plays for the Denver Broncos? Or is it like, no, you're not quite there yet, bud?
Well, according to George Payton, he's already had a ton of input. That's what he said at the Combine last week. I don't know how much I buy that when you're a young coach, right? You played in the league in 2022, your first 3 years on a staff. I don't know if they're hitting you up on draft night for, hey, who do you like here? But I think now that they promoted him, gave him that title, the fact that they gave him play calling duties and that Sean turned that over, because I was with you. I heard you and Phil debating it a lot of like, I'll believe it when I see it. Like, I don't know, maybe some situational stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a hybrid role.
Like, yeah, maybe he's red zone or in between the 20s, whatever.
Yeah, first 15.
He'd give up something, but not all of it.
Right.
That to me says, hey, this is a guy we have a ton of faith in. I also think like it's the Greg Penner businessman succession plan in progress here. Right? Like Jim Leonard was the guy that was going to replace VJ when VJ eventually got a head coaching job. He didn't get one this year, even though there were 10 openings, which I think surprised them. So then they go raid CU for their defensive coordinator. So now they have the next defensive coordinator in waiting for when VJ gets a job.
Wait, I have to say this because I've heard this quite a bit. That for me is like kind of a leap. Of like, hey, our next defensive coordinator is at Colorado, and he is going to leap anyone and everyone to be the next DC if Vance Joseph gets a job, which, by the way, hasn't happened here for a couple years. I just think it's too much of a leap for me.
I'm not saying that's what will end up happening. I'm just saying Greg Penner, if you're running a business, you better have a succession plan. Doesn't mean you follow it, but at any given time, you got to know, hey, if such and such got hit by a bus, what am I doing?
Yeah.
At least you should.
Yeah, sure.
And so I'm not saying that's what it would be, but I also think that's a little bit of the thinking with Davis Webb Sean's heading into year 4 of a 5-year deal. We've heard zero conversation about a contract extension. None.
Well,
it would be early.
Yeah, I was going to say we shouldn't really be hearing that.
Do you want to be having that conversation with only 1 year left on the deal? Then it feels like you're late to the party.
I don't know about that. I think this organization learned its lesson about doing, new contracts with 2 years left on it.
I get it, but this is a guy who's coming off a 14-3 season. They lost in the AFC Championship game with the backup quarterback.
Let's see. Let's let it play out.
I don't think Sean gets a second contract. I don't. I'm not saying Davis Webb is going to be the head coach. I'm just saying Greg Penner wants to have a succession plan in place that could turn out, right? Like, they go win a Super Bowl this year. Sean Payton's retiring.
I don't know about
waving,
this.
riding
James.
off into the sunset.
I don't know about this.
And if they win a Super Bowl, Davis Webb's going to be a hot commodity.
Oh, totally.
Okay, so maybe Sean doesn't want to ride off into the sunset, but he's got 1 year left on his deal, late 60s at that point.
I think he's like mid-60s. Is he late 60s?
Are you going to let the hot coaching commodity, are you going to let the next Ben Johnson, if we're playing out my hypothetical?
He's 62 right now.
Okay.
Late 60s next year.
Well, okay, so, but if in playing out this hypothetical,
yeah,
are you going to let the next Ben Johnson walk out the door so you can keep a 63-year-old head coach?
Yeah, right.
I don't know that would be very smart.
I think that is worth discussing. I do. Do you believe that Sean Payton single-handedly in a vacuum gave up play calling?
No.
Neither do I.
I do not.
And Phil, and I'll give him credit here, for over a month was saying Sean Payton's giving up play calling and it's going to be all of it. Now, do I think that Phil randomly said that? I do not. Do I think that Phil has relationships and talks to people and said it with such confidence more than anybody else a month in advance because he knew something that we didn't? I do believe that. And the more that I understand about Greg Penner, and as much as I can, is that you know who he's very similar to? George Payton. Greg Penner's a lot more like George Payton than he is Sean Payton.
Agreed.
Greg Penner is a collaborator and a consensus builder. I was told by someone here in the last couple of weeks who knows the situation intimately that never Greg Penner with the Broncos or even in business comes in and says, this is what I'm doing. I'm the boss and we're doing it. That's not how he works. He is very extremely, to an extreme degree from traditional NFL owners, he is a collaborator and a consensus builder. And I think that there was stuff that happened, and Phil mentioned this, there was stuff that happened in that AFC Championship game that went wrong for the Denver Broncos that no one was talking about because we didn't have intimate knowledge of what was supposed to happen on 4 or 5 different occasions where maybe Sean messed up. And only the people in the organization and who are on the headsets and who have intimate knowledge of the game plan knew that he messed up. But Greg Penner is doing one-on-one meetings with all these guys, all of them. And after extensively and exhausting the conversation of what is happening, it might have been there was a nudge. There was a nudge from Sean Payton's boss of, hey, and it could have been in the form of, James, I've said it like this. Hey, Sean, once upon a time earlier in my career, I wanted to know the exact dimensions on every single Walmart that was being built. I was flying in to Utica, New York to oversee the build of my... He goes, and I just got to a point in my career where I have people do that for me now. I'm more of a CEO. They bring me that information and tell me what I need to know. You might need to consider that, something along those lines, not of, hey, you're no longer calling plays. That's not how it would go down.
No, and I buy that. I think that's exactly how it happened. But I also believe that if Sean had said, nope, then he'd still be calling plays. I don't think it would have been forced upon him. And part of the reason I say that is before the Buffalo game in his press conference, Sean Payton talked about how, and I'm paraphrasing, but I'm not as quick as I once was. As you get older, you got feet of clay. I mean, he's in his mid-50s at 60 or mid-60s at 62.
Yeah.
And I think there was a self-awareness there. Like I've been very critical of Sean Payton, and I think fairly so on some of his things where his ego gets the better of him.
Totally.
Right? You give up a 70 burger, don't chew out Troy Rank in the post-game press conference. You just gave up 70 points. The media is just doing their job. They don't want to be covering a team that lost by 50.
Yeah.
Just answer the questions, right? But here, he actually did check his ego and I think there was some self-awareness there of, and you've rattled it off in the past, of all the in-game mistakes
Correct.
that Sean Payton has made, calling a timeout and having to punt to Kansas City, and they're able to get a field goal before halftime. Just stuff like that in close games.
Throwing the ball on 4th and 3.
Right.
When a one-possession game.
Against Tennessee?
Yeah, it's just, it becomes agenda play calling is how I would frame it.
Right, and it's also just too much going on.
Yeah.
Too many things on his plate that when he was a 40-something coach in New Orleans, he was able to do it. He can't now.
Yeah.
But the other part of it was, if Joe Lombardi was the OC, do you think he's given up play calling?
Absolutely not.
Exactly. So I think there were probably times even this past season where he might have thought, hey, this would be in the best interest of the team for me to give up play calling and turn it over. But you can't pass up your OC and give it to the QB coach / pass game coordinator. So I think it was collaborative. I think they both probably agreed on it, but I think Sean deserves the most credit for it, because I never thought he would give it up, and he was actually able to have that much self-awareness of, I'm not as good at this as I used to be, and I need to be the boss. I need to be the head coach on game days and not the play caller.
We're 7 days away from NFL free agency. How will the Broncos operate, and what is the first item that we find out 7 days from today in free agency? We'll continue this conversation coming up next.
After moving on from another defensive coordinator, are rough waters ahead for Coach Prime and the Buffs.
My true feelings as of right now, this is not good for CU. I don't think it's a positive outlook for what's coming at CU. And I'm being sincere here. This is not a promotion.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Xfinity. Imagine all that could happen in 5 years. Jobs may change, kids will grow, new memes will come out, but what if you had reliable, intelligent Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Thanks to Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, you don't have to worry about that part of your future. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to your devices that need them the most, that finds and fixes any issue before you even notice them. It's like super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from online threats. You get incredible gaming speeds on multiple devices and no one battling for bandwidth. For the next 5 years, all your devices will be working with perfect harmony, and you get our best equipment with no annual contracts, no fees, and no strings. So even though your kids grow up and you still don't understand 6-7, your internet will stay sharp, reliable, and most importantly, the price will stay put. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi, all with Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Select plans only.
You've been sharing your wish for happiness. You've learned that life offers different pathways. But what if your pathway is filled with fire? This is Glenn Jameron, Chairman of Alpine Bank, member FDIC. Let's be frank. Life isn't always happy. You can feel real pain, real fire, like the loss of a loved one. But know this. Fire can change you for the better. Just like iron must go through fire to become steel, so it is with each of us. Look back over your life. You may discover the most painful things, giving you empathy, new perspective, and a new realization of how precious life is. You have countless pathways ahead. Some bring pain, others happiness. It's what you do afterwards that counts. Alpine Bank, committed to Colorado, and you.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jeff's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination, where Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge, and Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Jeff is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen
Hey,
report.
what's up? It's Zach here. And if you're looking for your new go-to spot in Centennial, the Basketball Social House is it. Award-winning food and drinks, an incredible weekend brunch, and a brand new sports bar entertainment space where you can catch every Colorado game. Even if you're not playing, it's a great hang. But if you are, their private basketball suites are unreal. Full court, lounge, music, TVs, the whole setup. And because you're hearing this from me, get half off your first private basketball suite rental. Just use code HALFOFFHOOPS. Trust me, you're going to love this place.
I remember brushing my hair and looking down and thinking, oh my gosh, do I have any hair left? I used to look at women with thick, beautiful hair and think, why doesn't my hair look like that?
My thinning hair is making me feel so old.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. With clinically proven ingredients like apple extract, biotin, and millet, Hair Volume nourishes your hair follicles to promote thicker, healthier-looking hair. Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair, and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume.
Since taking Hair Volume, the shedding has all but stopped. Now, instead of being jealous of other women's hair, I have friends who are jealous of mine.
My hairdresser couldn't believe the difference in my hair. Now she's using Hair Volume too.
Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com, or find Hair Volume in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
The Great American RV Show and Off-Grid Expo is back at the Colorado Convention Center, March 12th through the 14th. Explore 400 plus fresh 2026 RVs and off-grid rigs. Go to DenverSports.com to register for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets.
Stream Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Dover and Cecil, The Drive, and all your favorite shows on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app. Powered by Advanced Tax Solutions. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
NFL free agency 7 days away. And, you know, really what it is the quote-unquote tampering period is 7 days away.
Yes.
Which means free agency is 7 days away. It's hilarious that the league has gimmicked this up where you have a period of time of 48 hours literally labeled the tampering period. I just will never not think that is funny. Like, this is where you can tamper. Like, that's so strange.
It's better than calling it legal tampering, which is such an oxymoron.
Right.
They've just called it tampering. But why don't we just say it starts at 2 o'clock on Monday? Instead of, well, it doesn't really start until Wednesday, but 2:01, you guys are going to be doing crosstalk on Monday?
Correct.
And there will be Broncos news.
Correct.
During that first segment at 2 o'clock, I guarantee you there will be news. So, yeah, it's all kind of laughable, but hey, man, I'm excited for it. It's a little earlier than normal, plus the Broncos went further, so it feels like it came up on us quickly.
Totally.
Like it usually is somewhere around the 13th, 14th. That's not that much, but it's a week. So it's a week earlier, basically. And then the Broncos, obviously, they went a lot further than normal. So it's like, man, it's upon us. And sign me up, right? This is a team that was about as close as you can get to going to a Super Bowl. They have some things they need to address, some pieces they need to add. I'll be fascinated to see what they do.
So because you and I don't get to sit down a lot, I'm going to spring this question on you here. When you just reference, hey, they were as close as you can get to a Super Bowl. Is it Super Bowl or bust in 2026?
Yeah. I think they'll probably have a worse record. 14-3 is tough to do.
Really hard. And setting the NFL record of one possession wins.
Yeah. So I think odds are they will have a worse record. I think they can be a better team than they were this year, even though the record will be, they could be 12-5 and be a better team.
I agree.
More explosive team, a little bit more of a dangerous team offensively. And yeah, I think if you lose in the wild card round next year, that's a disappointment. If you lose the divisional round, yeah, that's a bummer. If you get to the AFC title game again, I don't know that it would be a failure, but it'd be like, man, we are the bridesmaid here over and over and over again. I do kind of feel like it's Super Bowl or bust. I mean, but what does bust mean? Are they moving on from Bo Nix or not giving him a second contract?
Of course
no.
Not. Yeah.
Are they moving on from Sean Payton? No, but it'll make that conversation about second contract interesting. If they lose if they go 11-6 and lose in the wild card round.
And also let's put some more flesh on it. Like, if you have a significantly better offense, like the offense for the Denver Broncos for 2 years, and well, really for 3 years, but just with Bo and Sean, that partnership, it has run so hot and cold, like in such an unhealthy way. If Davis Webb takes over and your offense is averaging, let's say, 27 points a game and is ranked 4th in the NFL, and you lose in the AFC Championship game, it's going to open the door for some more of those conversations about Davis Webb and the big picture long term. And I almost feel like halfway guilty having these conversations because that's how good Sean Payton has been here in Denver. That, like, we're talking about secession plans with Davis Webb, but like if you're game theorying it out, like there is a scenario where that becomes like a super relevant conversation.
Yeah, because it's not only the fact that he's going to be, 64 at the end of his 5-year contract.
Yeah.
But if you give him an extension, it's 3 or 4 years. Well, then he is getting 67, 68. Like, okay, like, is that really the way you want to go as an organization? I'm not trying to have ageism here. I'm just being realistic.
Yeah.
If you have this hot young coach that's getting interviewed by everybody, the offense takes off. They haven't been that good in Sean's first 3 years. Davis Webb takes over, and all of a sudden they're a top 10 offense, and Bo Nix is an MVP candidate. Are you really letting him walk out the door? I think you'd be kind of foolish to let that happen. But I do think it's not Super Bowl or bust from the standpoint of people are getting fired or they're moving on from their quarterback. It's Super Bowl or bust from the standpoint of it'll be a disappointment. It'll likely be considered a failure. If you don't make the Super Bowl next year, it's hard to come up with a scenario where you're like, that was a good year. That was a good season. No, not when you get within 3 points of going this year. You got to take the next step.
Right. So free agency 7 days away. I'm just so curious on how the Broncos will operate. I'm curious if they will. It would be a tell for me if we get news that some contracts have been restructured. Because believe it or not, despite being out from underneath the Russell Wilson dead cap, the Broncos have less money in this free agency window than they did a year ago because of how they structured some of these contracts. And so we talked about that a week or so ago because I don't think most of Broncos country realizes that, because it's just like because Sean was talking after the season of like, well, it's going to be a massive a massive deal because if I gave you $200,000 to decorate your house or $50,000, like what would you choose? Like your house is going to look a lot better. But in reality, the money is less year over year to spend in free agency. So if they really want to get aggressive, they'll probably restructure some deals.
Yeah, they gave a lot of money to a lot of guys.
They did.
Nick Bonito, Zach Allen, Jonathan Cooper, Quinn Miners. I mean, there's a lot of guys they wrote, Pat Surtain, that they gave big contracts to, and a lot of that they had to structure in a way that, okay, well, how are we going to do that? Well, we got $87 million in dead cap to deal with over 2 seasons. They kicked the can down the road starting in 2026. They still have 20-something million in cap space.
Yeah, it's middle of the pack. I think it's like 16th, I want to say.
You can redo some deals. What do you do with guys like Mike McGlinchey who have huge cap numbers? You're probably, if he's part of your long-term in the NFL, it's probably 3 to 4 year plan. If he's part of your 3 to 4 year plan, you probably redo that deal. What do they do with Ben Powers? Some of those kind of guys. So you're right, though. We're going to find out how aggressive they're going to be because the last 2 seasons when they had the dead cap, George Payton, his buzzword was measured. We're going to be measured. This year, up until last week at the Combine, they didn't probably use the word aggressive, but you certainly got the sense they were going to be more aggressive.
Greg Penner said opportunistically aggressive.
Okay, there you go. Not his first year when they spent more money in free agency than any other team,
right?
But not what they've been the last 2 years. George tried to walk it back last week with, we're going to be aggressive and measured. It's like you can't be both. Those two things don't apply. I think they're going to be aggressive. I think you see them rework some deals, and I think their first signing going to be on the defensive side of the ball.
I have a follow-up question about that I'll bounce off you here in a minute. But also, there was some big moves today in the NFL that will impact the Broncos, and one of them that maybe should have involved the Broncos. We'll talk about it next.
There are people who are excited about the new play caller for the Denver Broncos. And then there's Mike Evans.
Sean Payton is out of the way.
Right.
And now Davis Webb. We've got our next Sean McVay. Our new Sean McVay is here. And this is going to be a top 5 scoring offense next year. I can't wait. I mean, it should be, right?
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Sex, intimacy, love. These 3 things are critical to a good relationship, and that's the problem with erectile dysfunction. It often destroys sexual enjoyment and intimacy. It stresses the love between partners, often to the breaking point. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if you're suffering with ED, you likely know exactly what I'm talking about. But I also want you to know that ED doesn't have to impact your relationship anymore. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we're ED experts with our focus on men's sexual health. We've treated tens of thousands of men and have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. I promise you, if you're like most guys, you can get your sex life back, perhaps even performing like you haven't in years. So if ED is affecting you, it's time to get back to better sex, better intimacy, and deeper love. Call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
You live in Colorado, you love those mountain views. Well, you want to maximize your window space, your glass space, and you can do that with custom windows at WindowNation.com. WindowNation.com, they're there for you with over 1,500 styles and colors to choose from. And in March, the more you buy, the more you can save. Up to 50% off all window styles right now at WindowNation.com. You can go out there, get your windows done, and enjoy that beautiful Colorado scenery. It's WindowNation.com. Visit WindowNation.com for your free consultation today.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
The AutoNation Flash Sale has been extended. It's your last chance. Drive with 0 down plus 0 payments till June. Save on thousands of new cars and trucks, all your favorite makes and models. 0 down plus 0 payments till June. We'll even buy your car and pay you top dollar on the spot. The AutoNation Flash Sale has been extended through March 3rd, only at your nearest AutoNation.
Appraisal subject to verification. 60-month max term financing on approved credit. Interest accrues from date of purchase. See store for details.
2026 is shaping up to be an amazing year to buy a home in Colorado. If you've been dreaming about getting into your first place, upgrading for more space, or downsizing for a simpler lifestyle, now is a smart time to start planning. And the first step is easy. Get pre-approved. With American Financing, you can get it done in 24 hours or less, so you'll know exactly what you can afford before you start shopping. Rates have been dropping, home prices are steady, and more homes are hitting the market. You could score the right home at the right price and lock in a monthly payment that fits your budget without stretching yourself thin. And unlike renting, every payment you make goes toward your future, not your landlord's. And here's a misconception we'd love to bust. You do not need 20% down. Many buyers purchase with as little as 3% down. So if home ownership is on your 2026 goals list, let's make it happen. Call American Financing, Colorado's home for home loans, at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 1823334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Thinking about upgrading your home's HVAC? Then Day and Night Mechanical Solutions of Denver can help and save you money. You may qualify for up to $20,000 in rebates through the Colorado HERE program and Excel Energy for energy-efficient heat pump systems. Day and Night Mechanical has the inside track on this program and will guide you through every step. Upgrade your HVAC and save big bucks. Visit dnmech.com. Act now while the offer lasts. Day and Night Mechanical Solutions. They fix it right, day and night.
At Berg Simpson, we are passionate about what we do. We bring that passion and our expertise to the office and courtroom every single day. We're always working hard and are committed to doing everything we can to give our clients the best opportunity to have a great result.
If you've been injured, call Berg Simpson for free now at 303-790-2525. 303-790-2525. BergSimpson.com. Good lawyers changing lives. It's not just a slogan, it's who we are.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play. Stop, opt out. Terms and conditions apply to the earnings promotion.
Do you have caregiving experience as a parent, teacher, nanny, coach, or in another similar role? Hop Skip Drive is looking for experienced caregivers who want to help students in their community by driving them to and from school. Earn up to $50 per ride with Hop Skip Drive's welcome promotion, all while helping your community. If you have your own vehicle that is no more than 10 years old, a clean driving record, and at least 5 years of caregiving experience, you could become a Hop Skip Drive care driver. Just text ROAD to 323232 to get started right now. Hop Skip Drive gives you the flexibility to set your own schedule and earn competitive pay. It's simple. Drive in your free time and make a real difference for students right in your neighborhood. Don't wait. Text ROAD to 323232 right now. Text ROAD to 323232 and start earning up to $50 per ride during Hop Skip Drive's welcome promotion period. That's ROAD to 323232. Text ROAD to 323232 now.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan is brought to you by Step Denver, a nonprofit solution to addiction and homelessness.
It's The Drive.
Phillip Lindsay today. I'm interested in who you think the top target is because you think they're going defense out of the gate. I'm interested to hear your name and logic behind that. We'll get to that here in just a second. But first, Jake Drew, you could be heading to Las Vegas for the biggest pro wrestling event in the world, thanks to 303 Law 4040. Call us back within the next 10 minutes at 303-713-1043 to be entered into our drawing for the Superfan Send-Off Grand Prize, a pair of 2 nights tickets to the event, round-trip airfare for 2 from Denver to Vegas, 2 nights hotel stay, and a $500 Visa gift card. Jake Drew, You have 2 first names, and you also have 10 minutes to call us back at 303-713-1043. If you haven't already signed up, there's still time. Head to DenverSports.com/superfan and make sure to listen weekdays every hour between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. to hear if your name is called. Okay. James, tell me your who you think the Broncos' top target in free agency is 7 days from now. You think they're going defense? I want to hear the name and the logic.
I think they're going defense. I mean, at this point, middle linebacker is a huge gaping hole. It feels like we talk about middle linebacker every single year, and we kind of have since Super Bowl 50. But, is Dre Greenlaw back? Is Alex Singleton back? Is Justin Sternad back? Like, they have a lot of question marks from guys that were the 3 main middle linebackers this year. Wouldn't shock me if none of them are back. I think they address that position in free agency, and I think they address it at number 30. If C.J. Allen is there, I think they take the Georgia linebacker with their first-round pick. I think they bring in another Georgia linebacker in free agency.
Nakobe Dean.
I finally get my guy.
Holy smokes, no you didn't.
I finally get my guy.
Oh, my God, James.
When he didn't go in the first round, I wrote the column, hey, trade Javonte Williams and get yourself Nakobe Dean.
I can't believe we're doing this.
Philly had a high pick in the second round. Now, you wouldn't even have had to do that. He slipped to like the third round.
He
into
did.
the 60s. But I think Nakobe Dean and C.J. Allen would be a dynamic combination at middle linebacker that would be better than anything they've had since Super Bowl 50 as a pair. Like Dre Greenlaw, nice player, can't stay healthy. And other than the Washington game, his 2 most memorable plays, he had a pick in the Washington game, and he got in a fight with a ref after a game.
Yeah. There was a goal line stand there, I think, against Houston.
Okay. So,
but your point is understood.
Alex Singleton, we all love the story of Alex Singleton. Tough as nails. The fact that he came back, great. I know he puts up huge tackle numbers, but most of them are 9 yards downfield. It's the reality.
Singleton's a good football player.
He's a good football player. He's not a great football player.
I wouldn't say he's a great football player, no.
Justin Sternad, good backup. But as we talked about earlier, you know what they always say about a guy that they don't have enough actual information to say to justify what they think of him. Real good special teams player. Really? Find me those Justin Sternad standout plays on special teams. Right, like Kayvon Webster, and different role on special teams, but people used to say he was a great special teams player. Right? I was like, okay, yeah, and I can remember like during the Super Bowl year, like 4 different times him down on the ball inside the 5-yard line. Like, how did he get down there? Okay, an impact special teams player. They had a Pro Bowler on this, or All Pro on the special. It wasn't Justin Sternad,
right?
So let's pump the brakes with that. They need to upgrade it. Middle linebacker. I think they do it both free agency and the first round.
All right, we'll see if that comes to fruition. A couple big moves today in the NFL. The biggest, the Houston Texans acquiring David Montgomery in a trade with the Detroit Lions for offensive lineman Juice Scruggs, who has been a disappointing player, a guard, a second-round pick that just never materialized. 2 draft picks as well. So the Lions are going to receive a 4th-round pick here in this year's draft and a 7th-round pick in next year's draft. Montgomery is going to turn 29 in June. He's set to make $5.5 million this year, the first of a 2-year, $18 million extension that he signed with Detroit back in 2024. And I'm just wondering if Detroit wanted to send a really good running back to the AFC so they don't have to see him in the NFC, and we're even willing to send him to a AFC playoff team. Should the Broncos have been involved in a deal like this, considering just how manageable the deal is from his contract standpoint and the assets that were given up in order to get David Montgomery? I look at it and I'm like, man, I hope the Broncos would have been involved with something like this, considering the great need at running back.
Yeah, I mean, 2 day 3 picks. Okay, I'm fine giving that up. And the highest pick's a 4th rounder. They have 2 4th-round picks. So it's like, okay, you're fine giving up one of those. He's got a $6 million cap hit this year, so totally manageable. That would have not been an issue. I like Montgomery. I think he's a really good back.
He is.
He's not Jahmyr Gibbs.
No.
Right? So I get why if they had to pick one, they picked the right guy.
Yeah.
Jahmyr Gibbs is dynamic. He's in the top 3 or 4 backs in the league.
Agreed.
Does David Montgomery come in here and solve the Broncos' running game woes? I just don't buy it. I don't. I think he's an upgrade over RJ Harvey.
For sure.
I don't know that it's are you going from a 3 to a 9? I don't think so. I think you're going from like a 4 to a 6, maybe. I think the Broncos' running game problems are the system, the play caller, which has now been changed, and the offensive line, and then the running back. Like, not saying that running back's not on the list of issues. It is. But unless you're getting Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, a guy that can come in and is so talented that you'd have to be a moron as a play caller not to give him the ball and not to build your system somewhat around him, and can make up for the fact that the offensive line has issues, I don't think Montgomery solves their woes. I don't. I don't think it would have just been, okay, mission accomplished, nothing else they got to work on that front.
I think it would have been a legitimate upgrade, is how I would say it. You know, I'm not confusing David Montgomery with James Cook or Saquon Barkley, but he's 4.5 yards to carry. You know, a 1,000-yard rusher in a situation in Chicago, 1,000-yard rusher with the Lions in 2023. Again, he's not those other guys, but the Broncos need a sure thing. They need someone with a high floor. I'm not even really overly concerned about trying to find the next Saquon Barkley or James Cook. You don't need the rushing champion, but you need someone with a higher floor and less of a mystery from an injury standpoint and from a production standpoint. And I, unfortunately, can't say with any sort of, conviction that this room here moving forward, like with RJ Harvey, as George Payton tried to phrase it a week ago, he severely misrepresented. And now Harvey's a good player, and there's a role, and he's a weapon, and all that stuff coming out of the backfield, and maybe third downs and all that stuff. But like, I don't see a down to down, series by series, game to game starting running back. I think that got more exposed after Dobbins went down. This guy's 30-something yards a game, and if you go through his game log, even when he was the starter after Dobbins went down, it's not impressive at all. And this is a position where Sean Payton says, pretty quick. It's one of the easier positions to evaluate in the game of football. Every year there's a new rookie 1,000-yard running back. Again, I don't want to be disparaging because I think RJ Harvey's a solid player. 32 yards a game. That's not worth writing home about. 3.7 yards a carry, it's not what you're looking for. They need to address it in a more meaningful way with a heavier hand. Montgomery would have represented that. Okay, you missed that boat. That's fine. But it's got to be something, whether it's a heavier swing at a free agent like a Breece Hall or a Rico Dowell, or addressing it in the first round at pick number 30. I just want to see it taken more seriously in a way that I have not for 3 straight off seasons.
Well, and the other part of it, though, to me, is if you would have made the trade today, or you're going to go spend money in free agency, then you have to change your approach in terms of how you use running backs.
I agree.
If you go sign Breece Hall, I don't want to see Tyler Bidet on the field in the AFC title game.
No.
I just don't. I don't want to see, and I know he's not going to be here, but Jaleel McLaughlin getting significant carries. Running back by committee can't be the answer if you've got a guy who should be the featured back.
Correct.
Now, to some extent, they didn't have that guy, so it gives Sean a little bit of a pass. But he just seems like a guy that wants to have different people in there because, when I drew this up at 2 a.m. on Wednesday night, this is better with Jaleel, or this one's better with Tyler. Like, the running back by committee thing drives me nuts. So I'm not convinced they're going to get away from that. So it makes me leery of spending money on, or draft capital or whatever else, on a running back, because I think that's just the way they go. I want to argue with you about the 32 yards a game because that's skewed by what he did in the first half of the season. But even in the second half of the season, he's averaging like 50 yards a game. It's not like it's something to write home about. I think they're a team, and I don't think this is completely crazy. I think they're a team that believes RJ Harvey can be an every down back, and I'm not convinced he can't be. I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying, hey, if he was given the opportunity, he's going to rush for 1,200 yards. But I like a running back that's out there all the time, gets a little bit of a lather going, right? It's like the boxer that gets warmed up before he steps in the ring.
I prefer that as well.
I want to see RJ Harvey or whoever else get that opportunity before I'm ready to write him off. Reason I say that, we all blamed it on Javonte a year ago. A year ago right now, Javonte Williams was the problem.
Well, he wasn't good. You can't reframe this retroactively because of how well he played in Dallas. He was not good last year, James.
He wasn't, but he wasn't good because of the system, the play caller, the offensive line, and himself. Because he's still the same guy. Now he's further removed from the injury, but it wasn't like it was the year before.
No,
you go down to Dallas, it's a different play caller, different system, different offensive line. The only thing that didn't change was the player. It's still Javonte Williams.
He looked like a different human.
I mean,
get
it.
He looked like a different human. He looked like he did his rookie year when you hated him.
I think there's a chance it's not true. I just think there's a greater chance that David Montgomery comes in here and we still have the same issue. I think that's more likely to happen than R.J. Harvey goes somewhere else and shines, because the problems aren't all about R.J. Harvey.
All right, we'll put a pin in that conversation for now. If you want to react to it, RamosLaw.com, text line 303-713-1043. The Avs won over the weekend, but it does feel like something's still missing. I want to talk about that. Also, are the Denver Nuggets actually championship contenders? Or are we chasing ghosts of a banner hung years ago? That's next.
Is Jets running back Breece Hall the perfect addition to the Broncos' backfield?
This is the type of back that the Broncos need. You talk about a difference maker. He's a 3-down back, so he can play first down, second down, third down. Doesn't have to come off the football field, but I think this guy could be a real difference maker.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
This week's Recovery of the Week is brought to you by Step Denver, the men's residential addiction recovery program in Lower Downtown. Our Recovery of the Week this week belongs to the Colorado between February 4th and February 25th. 8 players did go to Italy and play, but everyone is now back in Denver, and they restarted their season on Wednesday of last week and look to finish the campaign strong into the NHL playoffs. And that was our Recovery of the Week presented by Step Denver. And it's Zach here again, sitting down with Vincent from Step Denver. And today we're talking about the answer to the question, why am I here?
That's a universal question, Zach.
I couldn't agree more. Now, how does the idea of one's purpose relate to the program over at Step Denver?
Well, Zach, purpose is really what drives us in our lives. Without it, life can feel meaningless. When we are in our active addiction, we lose that drive. The only thing we can think of is about drinking and using, and frankly, nothing else matters. Addiction becomes our identity. It defines us. Once I found my purpose in life and discovered who I really was, I was able to restore a sense of dignity within myself and created a meaningful life. For residents, the daily routine of waking up on time, making their bed, cooking breakfast, going to work gives them something positive to look forward to every single day. Here at Step, our staff have been there themselves. They lead by example. They show the guys how work, being of service, restoring family relationships can help them believe in themselves and create a more meaningful life. Working at Step, I get to witness that, Zach, and see that spark return in their eyes is truly remarkable.
Amazing stuff. If you are someone needing help today, visit stepdenver.org. Donations are also accepted at the same link. That's stepdenver.org.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
At Common Spirit Health, we don't just see a cancer diagnosis. We see you, and you don't have to do this alone. We believe you should be surrounded by your people, so you can keep them close while you get care close to home. Supported by our care team from diagnosis to treatment and beyond, and strengthened by treatment tailored to you. Because there's no one-size-fits-all approach to cancer care. Find cancer care with human kindness close to you at mountain.commonspirit.org.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Restore your bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair with the same simple one-day treatment I receive from Dr. Tanya Pauls of Advanced Hair. Your own natural hair begins regrowing the very next day, and your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 720-459-HAIR, advancedhair.com.
At Belco Credit Union, we want to make your dream renovation a reality. Maybe that means a modern kitchen upgrade or a luxurious new bathroom. With Belco's Home Equity Choice line, you can get easy access to funds with the freedom and convenience of a home equity line of credit, plus the security and stability of a home equity loan. Plus, Belco is also offering low rates for qualified borrowers. Learn more at belco.org/choiceline. Belco is an equal opportunity housing lender. Belco, banking for everyone.
Colorado, Zach By here for 5280 Exteriors. Guys, we've had the driest winter in decades, over 50 years in some areas, and that means a higher wildfire risk. Now's the time to protect your home. 5280 Exteriors installs fire-resistant, non-combustible, low-maintenance upgrades built to handle Colorado's extreme weather. Choose James Hardy Siding, Timber Tech decking, and Pella Impervia fiberglass windows. Plus, get 60 months no-interest financing. 5280 Exteriors, the altitude of quality.
From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now in-store or you can shop online. Staples, that was easy.
Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Denver Sports 1043 to stay up to date on all your local teams. Denver Sports 1043. The Fan. Denver Sports 1043 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
Welcome back to it. Rolling downhill here on a Monday. Appreciate you guys rocking with us. We have James Marilat filling in for Phillip Lindsay today. Phil will be back tomorrow. It's a beautiful day in Denver, Colorado, and we still have a lot to get to. Did you catch that Avs game on Saturday?
I did.
A 3-1 victory over the Blackhawks. That's the most important portion of this conversation. They won the game, okay? They're on the backstretch of this season. It feels like we're kind of like killing time ahead of the NHL playoffs. But you got to get through it, and they did. But there are two things specifically for me that are a bit concerning. I'm sure you could guess what one of them is.
Has to be the power play.
Of course.
It's dreadful. It's the worst in the league. It's historically bad.
It is historically bad.
And they have stars that are on that or in that group that are on the ice for power plays, and they're still awful. Like, it's inexplicable. It really is.
I know, and the problem is, though, we have been talking about this thing that we cannot explain for months and months and months, and it goes back to last year against the Dallas Stars when the team went 3 for 25 on the power play with the season on the line, and they fired Ray Bennett, the longtime power play coach. They hired Dave Haxtell. It's gotten worse. And I mentioned this last week, is that when you talk about a power play that is historically bad, in terms of net power play especially, they're dead last in the league by just power play percentage. But when you account for net power play, which takes into consideration when you give up shorthanded goals on the power play, and somehow, some way, the Colorado Avalanche have given up 10 shorthanded goals this season. No one in the NHL has given up more. So you're the worst at actually scoring goals on the power play. You're the worst at giving up shorthanded goals, which should be impossible to give up 10. And by net power play, this is a bottom 5 power play unit of any team in the last decade. That's the depths that this thing is at. And so, yes, the most important thing is that they beat the Blackhawks over the weekend, who aren't very good. And the couple bounces here or there, that game could have actually gone a different way. And you get a empty net goal, to give you that 2-goal cushion, so you hit your -1.5, puck line.
Some of us noticed, yep.
For sure. But at the same time, there's two things that are kind of alarming to me. Not kind of. Obviously, the power play is so past alarming. It's so deeply concerning. But also penalties. The Avs took 4 more penalties on Saturday against Chicago and made that game way dicier than it should have been. They now have 16 penalties after the Olympic break, and the penalty kill has actually allowed 4 goals over that same stretch. So special teams just in general are lacking right now, and the Avs all of a sudden have a penalty problem as well.
Yeah, before the Olympic break, they look like a team. Disinterested is probably not fair. They just seemed a little bored, right? And when you start off 31-2-7,
right?
I mean,
right.
It probably does get a little bit hard to keep your focus dialed in of when it's that easy and you just show up at the building and you win every single night, basically. It's going to be difficult to stay dialed in. And you've got, hey, this long break coming up. A bunch of them were going over to Italy. You're distracted. Okay. But now they've come back, and it's the same problems are there. And they're 8-2 in their last 18 games.
Right.
They were going to come back to reality.
Sure.
Right? And so when you look at the grand total, you add that up real quick, they're 39-10-9. It's okay, it's hard to complain about that. But that's a pretty big sample size, 18 games. Before the break and after the break, same kind of problems, same kind of issues. At some point, it has to be a concern because those are the kind of things, taking too many penalties or bad penalties get you beat in the playoffs.
Yep.
Being bad on the power play gets you beat in the playoffs.
And has already got you beat.
And this isn't a new thing. And it doesn't just, you're right. Last year against Dallas, they were dreadful. What were they, 3 for 25?
Yeah.
On the power play. That's one of the main reasons they lost in 7 games. But, Zach, I feel like we've been having the power play conversation for years. It goes back a long time. And it was always, man, they just need to put the puck on net.
Yeah.
They just get too precise with it, too
cute.
fancy,
Yeah.
too cute. They make one too many passes. Okay, well, it was the same guys we're talking about now. So you can fire the power play coach if you want to. Ultimately, though, I sound like Mike Evans here, but ultimately you got to blame the people that are on the ice.
Well, hold on. I'll say this, though, because when it's this bad, when you are historically bad, it's just not one party that deserves the blame. When you're dead last in the league and historically bad, trying to assign where the blame lies, for me, kind of a fool's errand. You're historically bad. It's not just one thing. It reminds me of 2017 where the Broncos were 5-11 and we're deciding what is it, the players or Trevor Siemian or Vance Joseph? It's all of it. You're the most blown out team in football. You cannot be this bad and then assign the blame to a single party. Everyone's fingerprints are on this thing.
I'm not assigning it to a single party. I'm not. But it's sort of the old scientific method, right? You change one thing at a time. And if when you change that, it doesn't fix it, then you change another thing. If that doesn't fix it, then you change another thing. So they took the easiest path. I'm not saying they took it because it's the path of least resistance. It's just firing your power play coach is the least disruptive move. So then the next one is probably you're firing your head coach if this bites them again in the postseason. If they lose in the second round of Minnesota and they're 3 for 25 on the power play. Well, again, it's another first or second round exit. It's the same problem. Biting them again, that probably becomes the move. Then after that, the only move left to make is, hey, it's not the right core. It's not. And I heard you guys talking about it last week after the gold medal game, and it was alarming to watch how the Avs players were the guys who, in the biggest moment,
I know,
came up small.
I know, and which is crazy because it's contrasted the big picture stuff that was going on in Italy, which were the Avs were great.
Right.
But then in the biggest moments, because the Avs have been great here for years, but in the biggest moments, they often, far too often, fall short.
It's Game 7 and Gabe doesn't get off the ice, right? With San Jose a couple years back?
Yeah.
It's Game 7 last year where they've got a multiple goal lead in the third period, and they let Miko, of all people, go out and beat him.
Still cannot believe that happened. But to think that this wouldn't catch up with them again is completely naive. This is the special teams in hockey is a great neutralizer. It's the 3-point shot in basketball. It's turnovers in football. Like it can change everything. And the fact that they're this dysfunctional. Now, I have to say this. Because I know someone is driving down the road that watched the game on Saturday. 4 seconds after the power play expired, McKinnon to Makar, they scored. So it doesn't technically count as a power play. But from a just utilitarian, like, it was kind of still a power play. But also, like, that's where we're at, where we have a magnifying glass looking for something positive. Well, it wasn't really a power play. They went technically 0 for 4, but one kind of counts like one, and it's like, this is kind of where we're at with these conversations.
Yeah, if you score a touchdown from the 21-yard line, you can still be bad in the red zone, though.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
it's kind of similar. Doesn't mean the problem isn't there. It's just something to me, and I've said this when they were starting off 31-2-7, and I'll say it now that they're 8-2 in the last 18 games. I really don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me with this team what they do in the regular season. It doesn't. I'm all about what do you do in the postseason, because what has happened 7 of the last 8 years.
Yeah.
Where, yes, the outlier was great. They won a cup. We all got to go to a parade in 2022. But that is the outlier.
It is.
Every other year has been disappointment. And here's the other thing. Nathan McKinnon can say, hey, the better team didn't win in the gold medal game. You know what? He could have said that after every year when the Avs got bounced, because going into the postseason,
they're the favorites.
Yeah. I mean, if you go on
now, let me just give you minor pushback. That there was more to that quote. There was more to that quote that gave all the credit to the Americans and all that stuff. But he did, that was within the quote.
He did say that, right?
It was. And you don't get to say that after you miss the wide open net.
No.
Right? And the Cale Makar, I don't know if you go back and watch
standing
that
up
play, and he's literally standing up in the biggest moment of overtime in the gold medal game in a way that's almost like he had like brain fog in that moment. It just doesn't make sense. And I'll tell you that image or that sequence is as disturbing as anything that you'll find.
And, that game got way more attention, obviously, than Game 7 Avs Stars. But I'll bet if we went back and looked at all those Miko goals in the third period, there was probably a moment or two like that. Maybe not with Makar. But where somebody.
Well, Makar was not good in that series against Dallas. He was not.
Okay, so I'm just saying there's a pattern of the Avs Stars, their best players, coming up small in the biggest moments. And this isn't a team, I get it, it's hard to win a Stanley Cup. But this isn't the Tampa Bay Lightning where they lost in the finals twice, they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals twice. They haven't been close.
Yeah.
Other than the year they won it.
Right.
And I know that's a big other than.
No, but it's understood. We've lived enough years of this experience that's totally fair to say.
It has to be different this year.
It has to be.
Otherwise,
I agree. Because if
something has to change.
If they don't get it done this year, in my opinion, it'll be the most disappointing year that they don't get it done, because this is the most complete team they've had since winning it all.
I would agree. And it's also the question you would have to ask, if they can't get it done this year, when can they get it done?
Yeah.
So you have to make changes.
Well, here's the bottom line when it comes to the power play. After going 0 for 4 on Saturday, since January 12th, the Avs are 2 for 35 on the power play. They have allowed 4 shorthanded goals in that span. Think about that. They have allowed twice as many shorthanded goals since the middle of January than they've scored actually power play goals. That if that doesn't have you reaching for aspirin, I don't think you're paying close enough attention, and you don't know what they just went through last year in this regard, and it's gotten worse, significantly so.
But it should be fixable considering who they have on the ice in those situations. It should be, which honestly is why it's more frustrating than anything else. Like, the fact that they can't figure it out.
Of course, yeah.
It's just bang my head against this table of like, what is going on, fellas?
No one can figure it out.
Yeah,
mystery. Crazy. All right, this is KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. We are coming with it, and we are coming for it. It's Zach By hanging out with James Marilat, filling in for Phillip Lindsay today, and you are listening to The Drive. Appreciate you guys being here. Happy Monday. shifting gears here a little bit, and that's a big boy conversation we were just having. All right, here on a Monday about the Avs. Big picture. Most important thing, they did get the W. That is the most important thing, but it's temporarily masks some large themes that we've been following with that team. And then the other tenet of Ball Arena, there are other massive themes that we have been following. And unlike the Avs getting it done on Saturday, the Nuggets lose back-to-back games against the teams who bounced them in each of the last 2 playoff cycles. The Timberwolves 2 years ago, of course, the largest comeback in Game 7 history, or from the Nuggets' perspective, the biggest blown lead in the history of a Game 7. And then last year, losing by more than 30 in Oklahoma City in Game 7. That was on Friday night. Timberwolves, obviously, yesterday in a matinee on national television. Man, I don't want to frame this like the sky is falling, because it's not. Okay, it's not. But at the same time, you talk about a sample size of 18 games for the Avalanche. We have months and months of sample size, and I'm watching a team in the Denver Nuggets that has championship aspirations, and I do believe this team can still win the NBA championship, but we have to obey our eyes. This is a team in Denver that is now 1-9 in their last 10 games against winning teams. This is a team in the Nuggets that lose so often on their home floor. This is a team that went from their superpower was winning in the clutch, and now it's consistently losing in the clutch. I know that there's injuries and context for this. But, man, if you're watching these games and you're being attentive and being realistic, I think you have got to be concerned here.
I think you have to be concerned. But I do think there's some context that needs to be applied to it. Obviously, injuries is the number one thing. And you're right. Nobody cares, right? Nobody cares about your injuries. Every team in the league has had injuries, seemingly. Some big names have been out.
Huge names.
Heck, the game they lost on Friday night, the reigning MVP didn't play in overtime because he's on a minutes restriction.
That they actually followed.
Right, exactly.
Unlike Jokic's minute restriction in New York and the double overtime loss to the Knicks.
So, like, okay, nobody cares. But 6 of their 7 best players, everybody but Jamal Murray, it has been at one point in the season, and some of them multiple points in the season, he'll be reevaluated in 4 weeks, a month, where they're going to be out, at least. And they've all been out a little bit longer than that. I don't know that any of them came back earlier. Maybe Jokic.
Yeah, Jokic maybe by a hair.
Because I think he was going to be right on the line of, like, is he going to have enough games to be MVP eligible? And I think he came back a couple of games. But basically, 6 of your 7 best players have missed at least a month. It's pretty hard to keep your head above water if that's the case.
But they have.
They have, and then but if I'd have said that at the beginning of the year and then said, here's going to be their record on March 2nd, we'd have been like, oh, sign me up. I can't believe they're in the 5 seed at that point. The fact that they were 10-6 with Jokic, though, they've been worse since he came back.
Literally.
It's sort of how you get to that record, not just what the record is, that it's a cause for concern. But I'm not going to worry too much about this team until they get, I was going to say till they're totally healthy. I'm not sure they'll ever be totally healthy based on the way the year's gone.
Me either.
But until their 3 best players are on the court together, Jokic, Murray, and Aaron Gordon, I'm not going to worry a ton. Because I think when those 3 guys are out there, if most of the other key parts are out there, maybe an injury or here or there, but if everybody else for the most part is out there, I still think they can beat any team in the league in a 7-game series.
I agree.
I still think they're a legitimate NBA title contender.
Totally.
And I think it's a little unfair to judge David Adelman and this new look roster different from what they had a year ago, given the fact that we really haven't seen them all together.
But unfortunately, this is just their season.
I get it.
Like years from now, I can promise you no one is going to be saying, in Oklahoma City, they went back to back, but that was the year that the Nuggets were hurt, so it kind of has an asterisk. Like, no one's going to talk like that. We don't sit here and talk about how Jason Tatum hasn't checked into a game yet this year. We don't talk about how Jimmy Butler's knee exploded and they're no longer a championship contender. We don't talk about how Victor Wembanyama missed a month and he's bumping up against the games played to be eligible for awards. Like, we don't talk about it. We just don't. We don't really care. And this is, unfortunately, like, this is just the situation. And Aaron Gordon, we both agree, it's not going down without Aaron Gordon. They're the third best defense in the league in games played this year where he was on the court, and unfortunately there was just 23 of those games. And they're the 27th ranked defense when he's not in the game. But at the same time, it's 3 hamstring pulls in a 10-month period. This is just the reality of the situation. And I look at the games this weekend. One, yesterday they were just kind of punked. But on Friday night, like, you're playing an Oklahoma City Thunder team that we didn't spend any time talking about how they have an all-NBA player, something that Gordon's never come close to, something that Jamal has never come close to. They have an all-NBA player not playing in J-Dub, Jalen Williams, who is capable of scoring 40 points in the NBA Finals. He didn't play. And then when overtime came, the league's reigning MVP was sat down through a minute restriction, and the best player on the planet had a triple-double. Jamal goes for 39, and you still lost. So to me, it like, you're shooting at the same basket when talking about Friday night.
No, I'm with you. So my biggest cause for concern is I don't think they're a championship contender without Aaron Gordon, and I think it's a little bit naive to think Aaron Gordon's going to come back and be healthy throughout the entire playoffs.
James, he hasn't played 16 consecutive games since they won the championship.
So, yeah, I mean, that's the only way they're a title contender.
And by the way, how many games do you need to win a championship?
You got to win 16.
Okay.
And you're probably going to play, the most you could play is 28. The year they won it, I think they were 16-4.
They were.
So you're going to have to play 20-plus games to win a title. Okay, I'll hold my breath and hope he makes it through it, but that's the only way they're going to win a championship. Look, I just, brought up the fact that maybe McKinnon and McCarr aren't as clutch of players as they need to be. They're great players, but are they, great players in moments where are they Troy Tulowitzki hitting a bunch of home runs in the 8th inning down 7-1? I don't think they're to that extent.
Right.
But we saw in the gold medal game, we've seen in some game 7s, where were they? Nobody wants to say anything negative about Nikola Jokic. Lost a game 7 at home to Portland. Lost a game 7 at home to Minnesota, where they blew the biggest lead, second half lead in the history of the sport. You got the best player in the planet. Like, put him in the low block. He's either going to score or shoot free throws every single possession. Like, inexplicable that happens. They lose game 7 last year by 30. He played, and they couldn't figure out how to deal with Alex Caruso fronting him. And now, I mean, at some point, if you are the best player on the planet, your team should have an advantage down the stretch because they have a go-to guy, and you're going to get calls.
Well, I would say, I know what you're saying, and this is the Nuggets don't have a Jokic problem.
Okay,
they don't, James. They don't have a Jokic problem. I mean, like,
what other team do we not point the finger at the best player?
No, I got you, but like, this is not a game of one-on-one basketball. Like, you have got to have championship attributes to your roster, and I think they have enough of them to give them a shot. I really do. But I wouldn't boil down their playoff shortcomings to Jokic hasn't been good enough. I wouldn't do that. But here's the reality of the situation, big picture, is that this is a team that doesn't win at home. This is a team that is the worst version of themselves in the clutch when that used to be the hallmark of who they were. This is a team that is 1-9 against winning teams. They're missing it. Like, even amidst the injuries, like, there is there's just something missing with the group. And obviously they're not very good defensively without those two guys that aren't playing right now. But I'm also looking at, like, Cam Johnson. Like, if Cam Johnson is even a replacement version of himself on Friday night, you win. You win. And this from what my expectation coming into this season, and not to shift gears too dramatically on you, but the Cam Johnson conversation, it's front and center right now. He looks like a sad puppy dog out there with zero confidence, and this guy is supposed to be what we thought 14, 15 points a game. He has not held up his end of the bargain. He sounds like despondent after the game. He looks even worse on the court. And there's a certain like toughness missing with both him and I think the group in general right now at this specific moment.
I would agree. But this is a team since that championship year, and really other than the championship year, has lacked that, right? It's Jamal Murray's their second or third best player. I think Aaron Gordon's their second best player, whether we call best player, most important player, whatever.
Sure.
He's in the conversation. They have a big three. He's in the conversation.
Yep.
He's the guy melting down, throwing heat packs at refs.
Yeah.
He's the guy looking up into the stands at his dad when he gets a bad call in the first quarter of a playoff game, to the point where his head coach feels like he has to have a rage timeout and get a T early on in a game that was like 22-19 at that point. And then they end up getting blown out. Like it just unraveled in one of those playoff games. I mean, they lost multiple games at home that year in the postseason. So there's a lack of mental toughness that I thought Bruce Brown coming back would give them that, because he was the guy, if you think back to the championship year, when the Suns tried to take their free time out, and he got right in the middle of the huddle and gets into it with KD and all that. Like, we're not putting up with that bleep anymore. Okay, I thought that would be it. But otherwise, really, KCP, is he that big of a difference? Like, really nice player. But you got to be able to make up for the loss of guys like KCP if you're a championship team with a long championship window, with a 3-time MVP, with the best player in the history of the organization, with arguably a top 10 player of all time. You have to be able to overcome the loss of KCP.
I agree.
That just is unacceptable to me.
I agree.
So I think there's a lack of mental toughness on Jamal Murray's part. And I don't think they have a Nikola Jokic problem, but I'm also just not going to give him a free pass of, this is a guy in Game 4 when it's Suns in 4 guy. Remember that series?
Of course I remember
Game
the series.
4, he gets kicked out of the game, throwing a punch 90 feet from the hoop.
Yeah, but I mean...
See, but you're giving him passes.
No. That was a year where Jamal Murray was not available to play. They had 0% chance of winning anything.
Agreed, but you don't have to get swept. You don't.
Yeah. I mean,
and then they get the gentleman sweep the next year.
Shaq got swept 4 times, right? Shaq, like, you didn't have a prime Shaq problem.
Okay, when he wins 4 titles, how many Shaq won? 5.
4. 3 with the Lakers, 1 with Miami.
When he wins 4 titles, I'll allow the 4 sweeps.
Yeah.
When you have more sweeps than...
Yeah, but again, if you want to go down that road, and this is a true rabbit hole, the teams that Shaquille O'Neal played on were no comparison to these teams that Nikola Jokic has played on. Like, not comparable. Not even close to the level of talent.
I don't disagree, but he gets 0 criticism in this town. None. It's always me.
That's not true.
It's
That's
the
not
head
true.
coach.
That's not true.
Oh my goodness!
It was 1 week ago, literally 1 week ago, where I took him to task and said he needs to knock it off fighting a 2-front war every single night with the opponent and the officials.
Okay.
It's a massive problem. The grifting, they call it, the foul baiting, him swinging it through like he's James Harden, trying to wage this war with the officials and go to the line. It's 4 empty possessions a game. So when it's calls for him to be criticized, like he guess what? He also needs to be a better leader. And I have my doubts that is ever coming. He just said this past week that I'm not going to be talking every night. When something really needs to be said, I usually say it, but I'm not like going to be vocal. It's like, okay, like, dude, this is your team. And he's been more assertive and I think super aggressive here in the last week or so, and maybe leading more with some actions. But he is not some above reproach, is what I'll say.
Okay, and all of those are fair criticisms. So I shouldn't say he gets no criticism, because what you said a week ago is all true.
And he's taking too many threes because he's not in great shape.
Correct.
So there's another one.
So he gets taken out of his game by the refs and the opponent far too often, right? He takes too many threes, which is just being lazy, for lack of a better term, and just hanging out outside the 3-point line and jacking them up. He is a guy that just not a great leader, doesn't seem to want to be. Did you watch the documentary about the 2024 Olympics, the basketball tournament in Paris?
Yes, I did.
Something of Gold or whatever it's called on Netflix.
Oh my gosh. I just watched it recently with my son. Anyway,
it's so good. But they follow Team USA, Team Canada, France, and Serbia.
Yeah.
Jokic coached that team more than the coach did. He's up at the whiteboard during halftime and drawing things up.
He was doing that last year after Malone got fired as well.
I mean, about the only thing the Serbian coach did was drop F-bombs.
Yeah.
That's about what his role was on that team. So it's like, be a better leader. Don't get baited and taken out of your game. Like, you got to know better. It's like my youngest son falling for his older brothers picking on him. It's like, if you stopped reacting that way, they'd stop doing it. Teams are trying to get you out of your game and you're falling for it. Like, he deserves that criticism because you're the best player in the team or in the world. Your team shouldn't be playing like this. You shouldn't struggle down the stretch in games like this. You can say they don't have a Nikola Jokic problem, but by what we've just talked about in the last 5, 6, 7 minutes, I think they do have a Nikola Jokic problem.
Stop, James, stop. He's the greatest thing that ever happened to the organization,
I'm
ever.
not disagreeing with that. But is he what he was in 2023?
Yes. Yes. James, the guy's leading the league in rebounds and assists for the first time in NBA history by scoring 28, 29 points a game. They do not. Jokic is so far down the list, and that's not to say he's some perfect, like, made in a basketball lab from a leader standpoint and shape standpoint specifically right now, because I do think he put on some weight, when he was out. I do think he's playing himself back into shape in real time. But dude, like, I can't go that Jokic. So are you saying that Jokic is like near the top of the list of the Nuggets' problems?
No, but I'm saying he's on the list. Can they win a title with this version of Nikola Jokic?
Yes. As long as Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson are healthy, yes.
Okay.
The guy that, I just watched him yesterday go for 35, 13, and 9. Let's never get to the point where we're desensitized by this.
Well, how many? He took, 25 shots?
26.
Okay.
He shot 58% from the floor, James. He's 58% from the floor.
He's 4 inches from the rim most of the time on the ones he makes. Like, come on.
Dude, he's a knockdown mid-range jumper and a 40% three-point shooter, even though I think he takes too many. He shoots 40% for three.
I'm now being positioned as the guy who's, ripping Jokic.
You positioned yourself there. You've put yourself there.
I'm just willing to bring up the fact that he's not at the top of his game. He's not.
I'm not going to give you pushback on that because since coming back, look, the team's 5-8 since Jokic has come back. Nikola Jokic has not won, and this is going to stun some of you guys. Nikola Jokic has not won back-to-back games with the Denver Nuggets since the week before Christmas, and it's March.
They were better with Aaron Gordon and no Jokic than they are with Jokic and no Aaron Gordon.
I'm not going down this road with you. That you keep going down it.
I'm not saying they should trade him. I'm not saying that he's number one on their list of problems.
You tried to do that in years past already.
I'm just saying it needs to be discussed because he is part of the problem. He needs to be better.
He needs to be better. I can meet you there. I'll walk 25%. You go 75%. I'll meet you there.
Okay. Here's the other problem with both of these teams that we've talked about. And a couple of years ago, boy, it was tough to be critical of the Cronkies. Hey, they won a Super Bowl with the Rams. They won a cup. They won an NBA title. It's also starting to look like we're fixing to go on a decade with both of those teams where they should have been in championship windows. They have the greatest player in the history of the Nuggets. Nathan McKinnon's in the conversation for the greatest player in the history of the Avs.
Totally.
So is Cale Makar.
Totally.
Each team won one title. Great. Awesome. Haven't come close otherwise. Part of the reason why, all 3 times they had to go hire head coaches, Jared Bednar, Michael Malone, David Adelman. This is going to sound mean, and I don't mean it to sound that way, but they kind of went and hired JV coaches. Who was hiring Jared Bednar from the Lake Erie Monsters when the Avs put in a bad spot because Patrick Waugh retired right before the season or walked away right before the season?
Thank you for sharing that context.
But not a guy that was interviewing with other teams. Michael Malone, when he got fired by the Kings, wasn't in hot demand. Has he interviewed for a job since he got fired here?
I do not believe so. I just don't know if that's on his own accord or not.
Okay, but he's like, hey, he's the favorite to get the Knicks job. He doesn't even get an interview. And Adelman did have a couple of interviews the season before last. Last season he was the interim coach here, and he was going to get the job. But he at least had a conversation.
He did.
But it's not as though they
went
out and hired George Karl in his
They hired
prime.
a first-time head coach, and I love George Karl, but
But when they hired George Karl,
hold on. Michael Malone's the greatest coach in the history of the franchise.
He's not better than George Karl. He's not better than Doug Moe. He's not.
James, yes, he is.
No, he's
not.
not.
He won more games than any of those guys and had more playoff success by a wide margin than any of those guys.
And he had the 3-time MVP.
Dude, The other two greatest players in the history of the organization played for the two coaches that you just referenced.
Okay, and they got to a Western Conference Finals with Melo, which
one time
Malone has done one time.
Well,
with the 3-time MVP,
won the NBA championship. The team had never appeared in the NBA Finals, James.
Okay, and they caught a lot of green lights,
and they sped through them.
I'm just saying,
went 16-4 on their way to a championship.
If they go out and hire a big time coach to try to maximize the fact that they've got a 6 to 10 year window.
Who did you want them to hire?
Two of the greatest players.
I agree with this because you have me pushing back on something that I was not in favor of the Adelman hire. I do not think you entrust the second half of Jokic's prime to someone who's never done the job before. So I'm not even going to give you a real pushback on that specific item.
I mean, you just, and look, I don't know who was available when they hired Michael Malone. I can go back and look, and who was available this past off season. But you see guys like Rick Carlisle's of the world who go and succeed everywhere they go, and he's bounced around, so he's been available at times, and that's going out and getting a proven coach who's been a proven winner, who went to NBA Finals without a player as good as Nikola Jokic. So I'm not saying him because he might not have been available when they were looking. But
I got you.
My point is, guys like that were out there, and they just decide, kind of pull the Rockies.
I'm not gonna actually give you pushback on that specifically because I was critical of that at the time. All right, and the Bednar thing I think is different. I hold him in much higher regard than you do and have for years. Now we can have those conversations if they fail to get out of the second round again. I mean, those are gonna be hyper relevant. But here's what I'll say about these Denver Nuggets is that they can still win the championship. Okay, they can, but they would have to defy history to do it. Teams that look like this throughout the regular season and are this banged up and this bad defensively, they don't go on to win championships. So I think that they can do it, but they're going to have to defy history of teams that can't win at home, teams that lose in the clutch, and teams that lose against winning teams. It's to the point where, those three things coming together, it's deeply concerning. It is.
Yeah, because you have to be able to do all those things in the playoffs. You're going to have games every game's going to be close, so you got to be in the clutch. They're not going to have home court, so you better win your home games. So then you only have to win one road game.
If the playoffs started now, they're going on the road in the first round. Is there circumstance? Yes, but this is their lot in 2025, 2026.
My final thing on the coaches thing. There are 50 coaches, 50 basketball coaches who could have won one title during the Nikola Jokic era.
50 coaches of all time?
50 people coaching basketball right now.
I think you're way too dismissive of who Michael Malone and Bednar were to these organizations when they needed them. These were dumpster fires that both came into championships. So I think your tone has always been way too dismissive with those guys. Are they God's gift? No. Did Michael Malone make his own bed? Yes. Would I have moved on from Michael Malone after last year? Probably so. Because the greatest player in the world stopped letting Malone coach him is, I think, one of the ultimate things that got him fired.
Okay, but if the Avs don't win a cup this year, they've now waited at least a year, probably 2 or 3, before making a change at coach. Yeah, it's just a reality.
And by the way,
wasted years.
If they did make a change, you know who they should go hire? Well, I'm not even going to. You got me replacing Bednar, and the Avs are going to go win the cup this year. So
I hope you're right.
All right. ESPN did a way too early college football hot seat tiers. Was Deion on the list? Yes, he was. And we'll talk about where next.
After moving on from another defensive coordinator, are rough waters ahead for Coach Prime and the Buffs.
My true feelings as of right now, this is not good for CU. I don't think it's a positive outlook for what's coming at CU. And I'm being sincere here. This is not a promotion.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
I lost 60 pounds a few years ago with SodaWeightLoss.com, and it's never coming back. I am never gaining that weight back because I learned how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat with SodaWeightLoss.com. You can join Soda for a short time that have results that last a lifetime. Call them up at 1-866-800-SODA. That's 1-866-800-SODA. Or go online to SodaWeightLoss.com. And I lost those 60 pounds, and I'm never going back because of the personalized touch that SodaWeightLoss.com gives you with a personal nutritionist that's always available via text when you have questions, you have concerns. Sometimes you just need encouragement on your weight loss journey. Have a friend there. Have your personal nutritionist there for you. It's SodaWeightLoss.com. It's changed my life. I look and feel 10 years younger, and I love it. You'll love it too. Go to SodaWeightLoss.com. Again, call them up, 1-866-800-SODA. Join Soda for a short time to have results that last a lifetime. At SodaWeightLoss.com. SOTA is, say it with me, state of the art.
Jackson Hewitt knows taxes are complicated. And with multiple jobs and tax forms, they're like Sonata complicated. Our no surprise pricing keeps things simple. Jackson Hewitt does your taxes for only $149 or less. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back. So what are you waiting for? Hurry. File with Jackson Hewitt today for only $149 or less, guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. Mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Have you looked at your credit card statement lately? You're working 40, 50 hours a week just to buy groceries and gas, things you used to be able to afford. And the credit card companies are charging you over 20% interest for the privilege. Think about that. Over 20%. It's designed to keep you underwater. American Financing is doing something they hate. They're actually helping people. They have mortgage rates in the 5. They're showing homeowners how to take their hard-earned equity to wipe out that high-interest debt. The average savings is $800 a month. So talk to a salary-based mortgage consultant. No upfront fees, no obligation to see how much you can save. And if you start today, you could delay 2 mortgage payments. Give American Financing a call. America's home for home loans at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org. APR for rates in the 5 start at 6.196 for well-qualified buyers. Call 303-695-7000 for details about credit costs and terms.
They said if I got drunk, if I did coke, I'd be one of the guys. They said meth would help me get through my exams.
They said synthetic drugs would give me a safe high.
They said sniffing glue was no big deal.
Totally safe.
I could party all night.
It would help me forget my problems.
He said he'd love me forever if I smoked crack with him.
They said I wouldn't get hooked after the first hit.
They said weed wouldn't lead to harder drugs.
They lied.
They lied.
They lied.
He lied. Find out the truth about drugs.
Drugfreeworld.org.
Drugfreeworld.org.
My father started Williams Jewelers in 1947 as a humble little neighborhood jewelry shop, and I opened our Cherry Creek North store in 1973. I'm Bruce Williams.
And I'm Michelle Williams. I literally grew up here in the jewelry business, grading diamonds and gemstones and designing custom jewelry for families just like yours.
Here at Williams Jewelers, you'll find our curated collections, including Hearts on Fire, Lake of Bahar, Sloan Street, Mastaloni pearls, and dozens more.
And a diamond and bridal department with the latest engagement ring styles and wedding bands from Tacori, A. Jaffe, and Gabriel & Company.
Add to that Tag Heuer sporting watches and pre-owned Rolex timepieces, all at the guaranteed best prices in Colorado.
At Williams Jewelers, we're proudly old school Cherry Creek North, where people and sweet puppies are always welcome.
And where you'll always be treated just like our father would.
Like family.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
The official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
When the Nuggets are knocking down threes, you score 2. If Denver hits 15 or more three-pointers, you score a free 28-ounce Gatorade Lower Sugar the very next day at your friendly King Soopers. Gatorade Lower Sugar is scientifically formulated with Gatorade's #1 proven electrolyte blend and has 75% less sugar than Gatorade Thirst Quencher and no artificial flavors, sweeteners, or colors. Big shots deserve next-level hydration. Only at King Soopers.
Winter isn't over just yet. In Colorado, your furnace has one job: to keep you warm. If it's been a while since your last tune-up, you're rolling the dice. Stoke here. ROX Rocks Heating and Air is local and honest. Get your furnace tuned up before the cold settles back in for only $39. Call ROX Rocks Heating and Air today or schedule online. Keep your home warm, keep your family safe, but only with ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
Thinking about upgrading your home's HVAC? Then Day and Night Mechanical Solutions of Denver can help and save you money. You may qualify for up to $20,000 in rebates through the Colorado HERE program and Excel Energy for energy-efficient heat pump systems. Day and Night Mechanical has the inside track on this program and will guide you through every step. Upgrade your HVAC and save big bucks. Visit dnmech.com. Act now while the offer lasts. Day and Night Mechanical Solutions. They fix it right, day and night.
You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, bottom half of hour number 4. Joey Lopeman. You could be heading to Las Vegas for the biggest pro wrestling event in the world thanks to 303 Law 4040. Call us back within the next 10 minutes at 303-713-1043 to be entered into our drawing for the Superfan Send-Off Grand Prize, a pair of 2-night tickets to the event, round-trip airfare for 2 from Denver to Vegas, 2 nights hotel stay, and a $500 Visa gift card. Joey Lopeman. Call us now at 303-713-1043. Guys, if you haven't already signed up, there's actually still time. Head to denversports.com/superfan and make sure to listen weekdays every hour between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. to hear if your name is called. James Marilat filling in for Phillip Lindsay today. Phil will be back tomorrow. So ESPN, they did a way too early college football hot seat tiers. Was Deion on the list? He was, but they had him into categories. The hottest, want it to work, it'll cost us, need progress, and then retirement watch. Deion Sanders was designated into the retirement watch category because of his health. Bill Belichick also was in that category as well. What a disaster experiment.
Total disaster.
In Chapel Hill.
And it doesn't feel like that's going to get any better.
No. But honestly, from where I sit right now and the information that I have, I think the same statement applies for Colorado. I don't know how the situation up in Boulder gets legitimately better. Just considering all the dynamics, the exits from players, coaches, and then Deion's unwillingness to recruit and use his superpower when you also don't have the NIL money to give. And then the school paid him, in my opinion, too early. That they're now handcuffed to Deion. He would have to walk away on his own accord for this thing probably to have its most clean split. I just don't know if he's going to decline that amount of money being handed to him by the university in a year where they're going to take on the largest deficit in the history of the athletic department. You start just to add up all the factors up there in Boulder, man. That thing has turned very quickly.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of things to look at and go, oh, that's a positive. I mean, their quarterback didn't bail. That's a positive. Like Juju stayed for a reason. I have no idea what that reason is, to be honest with you, but that is a positive. Jordan Seaton leaving is certainly a negative. It's a guy who's probably going to be a first-round pick in the NFL.
He's your best player.
So that's a huge negative. Losing 2 coaches the week before spring practice starts?
Not a good look.
That's alarming.
Yeah.
Like if you decided you wanted to move on from Warren Sapp at the end of last year, fine.
Which I would have.
I would have too. I would have never brought him in.
Agreed. Agreed.
Great player, but not the guy I want around a bunch of impressionable young men.
No.
I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
And no track record of being a good enough coach that he's worth the headaches.
Correct.
You lose your DC. I get why he's jumping at a NFL job, especially because I think that's the guy who's sitting there. He's in the Jim Leonard seat. He's either going to take over for VJ if VJ gets a head job, or he's going to be in the conversation of, all right, well, he's a hot coaching prospect. Does he become a DC somewhere else? That's a better career path than staying at CU.
I think it's a better career path, but also, one, the idea that he's the succession plan at defensive coordinator if Vance gets hired when he hasn't for 2 years with the league's best defense. It's too much of a leap for me. But I go back to, like, typically, if you're really good at your job and you're desired, you do not cut your paycheck in half. That is typically not how this goes. But he was going to go make $1.7 million this year and is going to make half of that. That is a atypical move, despite it maybe making more sense for a career path standpoint. That told me, and maybe I'm overreaching in my speculation, that told me just how bad and pressing he wanted to get out of Boulder. That's what that told me.
Well, I get it. You normally don't take a pay cut that's 50% of what you were making. But he also could be looking at it saying, hey, we're fixing to go 2-10.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be out of a job. And where am I going to land after being the DC for a team that went 2-10? I mean, at some point, he's already seen it up there. Somebody gets scapegoated. I mean, they've moved through multiple offensive coordinators.
Yeah, this is going to be the third defensive coordinator and is it the
third OC?
The third OC? It was Sean Lewis to start.
Then it was Shermer.
Which, by the way, that's a relevant name to bring up because we saw with the Sean Lewis experiment that the CU Dion experience was not held against him at all. He was hired as a head coach immediately. I think people may be looking what's going on up at CU and sort of the calamitous situation that it's turned into for several different reasons, almost like we look at someone from the New York Jets a bit. It's like, okay, yeah, he didn't have success with the Jets, but no one really does. And I know CU has had a successful season 2 years ago, and if you want to go further back, obviously you can handpick 2016, and the 90s were incredible.
The 90s. I mean,
yeah,
that's how far we got to go back.
Right.
I was there.
Right. So I think that with the Robert Livingston, going back to that conversation, there may have – and we don't know because he left before we could have these conversations more legitimately, but like the CU Dion experience may be taken with 2 grains of salt by people in the football community.
I get it. I think you're right. It clearly wasn't, their 3-9 wasn't held against them. The Broncos were willing to hire him.
Good point.
But if you have too many of those, it may start to be held against you, especially, and I don't think they're going to go 2-10. I also don't think it's outside the realm of possibilities they go 2-10. And if that's a lot of games where it's 55-20, you're the guy giving up 55. You're not going to get a lot of job offers.
Sure.
So I do think, hey, what is the quickest path to be a DC at either a major college football team or an NFL team? The path he went on last week makes the most sense. Like, I know it was a step back pay-wise and title-wise, but where are you going to be in 2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
I think he's on a better path. So I just think it's a mess up there at the moment. I think I get the retirement watch thing. He's got all the health issues, and that's why Dion would be in that category. I think it's a need progress year. I do, because he's not going to get fired. I mean, unless it's just an unmitigated disaster. I can't even come up with what it would have to be.
He is not getting fired. They cannot afford to write him a check for over $20 million to go away.
And if it's an unmitigated disaster to the point where it's so embarrassing for him, maybe he walks away from the money. Maybe. I think the best case scenario for CU is everybody knew they were going to take a step backwards last year when you lose the Heisman winner and you lose the best quarterback in the history of the program.
You can't say that when Dion tells me that this team's going to be better. Yeah, we lost those top 2 players. We can't replace those guys, but we have a better team, and then you go 3-9.
Oh, it's hyperbole. We all know it, right? So realistically, though, we were all saying this should be a 6-6, 7-5 team. That would, if they're a bowl team.
Depends who you were asking. I was trying to convince these guys around here, Drew Spivak and Phillip Lindsay, to screw their head on that the floor was a lot lower than. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was with you. I thought 6-6 would be a bummer. 7-5 would be like, all right, you're in a bowl game, but you didn't take a huge step back. 3-9, unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
This year has to be what we thought last year would be. They have to be 6-6, 7-5. Then at least there's okay, they're riding the ship. There is life after Travis, life after Shadur. Okay, it's not the unmitigated disaster we all thought this could have been. There's still a light at the end of the tunnel, right? There's no light if you go 2-10. And then because they're stuck. they're stuck unless he says, I'm walking away from $20 million. They are in the Dion business for years to come.
Yep, I agree. All right. Okay. Shifting gears here. What did we learn today in Denver sports? We'll take a look back at it next.
There are people who are excited about the new play caller for the Denver Broncos. And then there's Mike Evans.
Sean Payton is out of the way.
Right.
And now Davis Webb. We've got our next Sean McVay. Our new Sean McVay is here. And this is going to be a top 5 scoring offense next year. I can't wait. I mean, it should be, right?
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Are your investments in the right accounts? What's best, traditional or Roth? Are you receiving all available tax deductions? Are you paying as little in tax as you can? These are all questions you can't afford to get wrong. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth, and in many cases, it's not what you make, but it's what you keep that makes the real difference. Trajan Wealth and Trajan Tax work closely together exclusively. No more guessing about whether you should do a Roth conversion, or if maxing out your 401k is really the best option. Our nationally recognized fiduciary advisors and CPA team work in tandem to make sure your tax strategy works with your investment strategy. We'll even do your tax preparation. One team, one strategy. Isn't it time for a second opinion? Call Trajan today, 720-204-8100. That's 720-204-8100.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Still babysitting your cleaning crew? Missed trash, dusty desks, complaints from staff? Pike Janitorial has served Denver businesses since 1994 with professionally supervised commercial cleaning that gets done right the first time. Offices, warehouses, medical facilities, they show up, handle it, and you don't have to think about it. No excuses, no callbacks. And they'll beat your current cleaner's price by 10%. Guaranteed. Call 303-306-0290. Pike Janitorial. Clean you can count on.
Spring weather is unpredictable. You never know which way you'll be adjusting your thermostat unless you have the right windows. And that's why with windownation.com, you can count on your home being comfortable regardless of the weather. Their windows are customizable and energy efficient. Expert installers take just one day, and Window Nation products are backed by a lifetime warranty. There's no better time to upgrade with Window Nation. In March, the more you buy, the more you could save. Up to 50% off all window styles. Visit windownation.com for your free consultation today.
The AutoNation flash sale has been extended. It's your last chance. Drive with 0 down plus 0 payments till June. Save on thousands of new cars and trucks. All your favorite makes and models. 0 down plus 0 payments till June. We'll even buy your car and pay you top dollar on the spot. The AutoNation flash sale has been extended through March 3rd. Only at your nearest AutoNation. Appraisal subject to verification. 60-month max term financing on approved credit. Interest accrues from date of purchase. See store for details.
Progressive presents a guided meditation.
Hear the birds sing. A chipmunk nibbling on an acorn. Smell the pine needles gently falling into your living room as the breeze blows through the gaping hole in your roof. Gaze up at that broken tree branch and relax, because you bundled your home and auto with Progressive and have the peace of mind of 24/7 protection. So relaxing.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jeff's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination, where Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Jeff is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
You know what it takes to win. The preparation, the game plan, the refusal to quit when things get hard. You bring that same mentality to your business every single day. But even the best teams need fans in the seats. At Denver Sports, we put your business in front of Denver's most passionate, loyal audience, on air, online, and on the big screen. You've got the drive, we've got the reach. Visit us online at DenverSports.com. Let's build your roster.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach your friendly live agent. Donation's super easy and your car can be picked up by tomorrow. Call now or go to carsforkids.org.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Hey, what's up? It's Zach here. And if you're looking for your new go-to spot in Centennial, the Basketball Social House is it. Award-winning food and drinks, an incredible weekend brunch, and a brand new sports bar entertainment space where you can catch every Colorado game. Even if you're not playing, it's a great hang. But if you are, their private basketball suites are unreal. Full court, lounge, music, TVs, the whole setup. And because you're hearing this from me, get half off your first private basketball suite rental. Just use code HALFOFFHOOPS. Trust me, you're going to love this place.
Follow us on X at DEN Sports 1043 for up-to-the-minute information and opinions on all things Denver sports. Also, we can still call it Twitter, right? Denver Sports 1043 The Fan, DenverSports.com, and the Denver Sports app. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip.
Today in Denver sports, the first thing that jumps out at me is that Tyus Jones, whose name has been associated with the Denver Nuggets for it feels like a few years now, did sign with Denver while we were on the air earlier today. That was put out there by Shams Charania of ESPN, veteran, backup, ball handler, guy's been around the NBA for over a decade, and I think fills like a need just in the backcourt. And I don't know if this is a postseason move or this is like eating innings on your way there. It could be. I don't think it is going to change the Nuggets championship odds. I'll say that. But I think in general, I think it's a positive move.
Does it cut down on Jamal's minutes between now and the playoffs?
Yeah, I think so.
So that's probably a help. It's a little bit of a weird signing to me, and you talk about how it's a name that's been connected to the Nuggets for years. Kind of makes me say, well, why? Because is there a team in the league whose point guard does less? And look, Jamal will dribble the ball a lot when they're running two-man game, but in terms of bringing the ball up the court, I don't know what percentage of the time Jamal does it, especially in the postseason. But this ain't the 80s NBA where the point guard is always doing it. Like it's
in matchups like Minnesota. They do hound him, so then the Nuggets will take the ball out of his hands.
Right, and it's AG bringing it up. It's Jokic bringing it up.
Yep.
Like you see that a lot with this team. So I'm not saying it's a bad signing at all because I do think if you can, cut 3, 4, 5 minutes off of Jamal's minutes every single game between now and the postseason, that would be big. He's the one guy who hasn't been hurt.
That's right.
That's
right.
And he's probably heading into the season. I mean, Aaron Gordon had a lot of injury problems last year too, but Jamal would have been the guy, hey, who you most worried about staying healthy all year?
Totally.
It would have been him. So, you've made it this far. You've made it to March. How do you make it to mid-April? It's not a blow-you-away type of a move, but it's not a bad move by any means. We'll just see. Is this a Reggie Jackson type move?
Right.
Right, where like during their championship year, come playoff time,
he didn't play.
He didn't get on the court.
Yeah, that would be my guess is the future of this news that came today. I don't think Tyus Jones is going to be playing major playoff minutes. And by the way, I remember saying after the Jonas Valanciunas signing, I said, I think it's a good move and will have a real impact in the regular season. I don't know if he's going to play every round in the postseason. And the more I watch him, when you play these teams like Golden State or yesterday against the Minnesota Timberwolves, when they play 5-out basketball, there is not a role for Jonas Valanciunas. No. So just keep that in mind. And I hope I'm wrong about that, but I feel like I was on good footing when I said it and feel even better after watching his role against the Warriors last weekend, which was probably the worst loss of the Nuggets season, and what I saw yesterday against
the Warriors B team.
Yeah.
I mean, Jokic is going to play 42 minutes a night in the playoffs, right? Like that's just the way it's going to be. It would be interesting to go back and look in their championship year after they signed Reggie. What happened to Jamal's minutes? Because then he was really good in the postseason.
He was.
And we've seen the last couple of years he's been. Michael Malone's talked a lot about how we were a tired team. Who was number one on the list of guys who looked tired 2 years ago when they blew it against Minnesota?
Jamal.
It was Jamal.
Totally.
So if it only accomplishes that, and we've talked a lot today about, hey, what does history tell you? Well, we have history of this being a good type of move for the Nuggets. So, okay, sign me up. You've turned me around on this one.
All right. Nathan McKinnon said he spoke with the media after morning skate for the first time since coming back stateside after the Olympic experience. He was asked about how he'll remember it, and he said, just fondly. I had an amazing time. It was really unique hockey experience. Nothing but good memories. Obviously, it still stings, but I had an amazing time. Nothing but positive memories, end quote.
I think there's a little Pinocchio going on right there.
Yeah.
Good thing to say. Right thing to say. I think that plush toy they gave him when they gave him the silver medal was in a trash can in the locker room.
1,000%.
I don't think he's got it sitting on his bookshelf in his office and looking back on it fondly.
Have you seen these fans print out the picture of him with the open net in front of him and put it up to the glass? Have you seen any of that?
I haven't.
Yeah, he's getting heckled a little bit. And so...
Well, I don't think it's unjustified. You can't miss that. You just can't.
I know. All right. We'll leave it there for now, guys. Appreciate you being with us here on a Monday. Phil will be back tomorrow, and we'll talk to you at 2 o'clock. James, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. It was a ton of fun.
No doubt about it. We got Denver Sports Tonight coming up next.
Is Jets running back Breece Hall the perfect addition to the Broncos' backfield?
This is the type of back that the Broncos need. You talk about a difference maker. He's a 3-down back, so he can play first down, second down, third down. Doesn't have to come off the football field, but I think this guy could be a real difference maker.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Yo, Harvey, Zoe, group selfie.
Ooh, nice new iPhone 17, Drewski.
Let's do a triangle formation. I'm in front.
With a center stage front camera, everyone fits in the shot.
You got it at T-Mobile.
But switching takes forever.
Not anymore. Now you can switch to T-Mobile in just 15 minutes.
Focus, people. Nail your pose.
And you get a new iPhone 17 on them.
No way.
Yes way.
No way.
Yes way, guys. Switch to T-Mobile and get iPhone 17 on us. And right now, we'll pay off your old phone up to $800.
I'm grabbing my phone and switching to T-Mobile right now.
Get back, Harvey. We're taking a... let's go again, y'all.
With 24 monthly bill credits, finance agreement, 256 gigabytes, $830, eligible trade-in, example iPhone 13, and new qualifying line, $60 plus per month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees. For well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. $800 via virtual prepaid card. Card typically takes 15 days after rebate submission, no cash access, and card expires in 6 months. Check out in 15 minutes per line. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. For over a decade, Bluebird Windows and Doors of Denver has been servicing the Front Range with products built to withstand Colorado's unpredictable weather. Bluebird's Sunrise Collection windows are built to last a lifetime and are backed by strong warranties. Buy one window and get one 50% off through March 31st and mention you heard about Bluebird from me, Mike Evans. You'll save an additional 5%. Enjoy the outdoors through energy-efficient Bluebird windows. Visit gobluebirdco.com.
You really are amazing. My name is Glenn Jamron. I'm chairman of Alpine Bank, member FDIC. You've told us how some people get mad at you for following your own pathway in life. You've said they judge you. Know this. Each of us is entitled to our own opinion. Why? Because we're all different. The pathways you choose in life are your own. It's your life, no one else's. And that's okay. Nobody likes to feel judged. No one likes to have others mad at them. But the key to navigating judgmentalism is to check things out, make your decision, and then commit to being true to yourself. Let others say and feel what they wish. They have that right, and you have the right, the obligation, to follow your own heart. Alpine Bank, committed to Colorado, and you.
SodaWeightLoss.com is state-of-the-art, and SodaWeightLoss.com helped me lose 60 pounds a few years ago, and I've never gained the weight back. Why? I know how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat. I had a real nutritionist there to help me along the way through my journey. I joined Soda for a short time to have results that last a lifetime. Call them up, 1-866-800-SODA. You want to lose that weight? 1-866-800-SODA, online at SodaWeightLoss.com. They are there for you like they were there for me. It's SodaWeightLoss.com. Soda Weight Loss is state-of-the-art.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again, so call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
At Common Spirit Health, we don't just see a cancer diagnosis. We see you, and you don't have to do this alone. We believe you should be surrounded by your people, so you can keep them close while you get care close to home. Supported by our care team from diagnosis to treatment and beyond, and strengthened by treatment tailored to you. Because there's no one-size-fits-all approach to cancer care.